Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube and Twitch, and welcome your faces back to the second day of Spring Split 2020 EU PMCO. My name is Maxman, and once again, I'll be joined by my friend and yours, Imperium, for this epic second day of action coming your way. Imperium, how's it going?
Oh boy, well, we had a nice, sweaty set of first games yesterday between Group A and Group B. Before we get into what's coming up today, just to give a bit of a brief recap, 4 games, as I say, Groups A and Groups B clashed together. We saw Game 1 going over to the next in Erangel. Game 2 in Sanhok went over to Team Dope. Game 3 in Miramar went over to Czech Esports. And the last game of the day went over to Cream. And as you can see in front of you, that is the overall standing. Next lying on top of the tippity top of the mountain for now. But with lots of games to go, and particularly the set of 4 games that we have in front of us, it's only going to get more exciting.
Just going to get more excited. We can see right now the overall standings after that first day. We only have teams then from Group A and Group B. It's a little bit bittersweet to see Team Next was 82 points, which is absolute pure and raw domination, I have to say, but a little bit bittersweet because we didn't see a one-day 100-point bomb, which I would have absolutely loved to see and withstand in front of my very eyes, but unfortunately not be the case for this group. But now we're going to be shifting towards Group C versus Group D, Imperium, which is pretty stacked. We're going to go over the entirety of these teams, and we have some pretty big names in here. Mainly going to be, of course, Red Reserve and Elevate. If you guys follow the Pro U scrims, you probably heard of them. They've just been claiming chicken dinner after chicken dinner, but they're not the only big teams in these 2 groups, Imperium. We have so many other big teams that are just ready to just come in with some great plays today.
Yeah, of course, there's definitely going to be some teams who are maybe going to be in the shadows waiting to rise up above the ashes and get those strong results. Teams like Hate Gaming, which would actually put a lot of potential on. You have Ghost Skilla, who were before this known as the Noisy Boys, but they got picked up by Ghost Skilla just recently. Then you have the likes of The Real Deal, who were also formerly known as Porosis. So there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of opportunities. Compared to yesterday, you're of course going to have teams that are going to falter, but at the end of the day, this is a blank slate for these 16 teams today to really get into the action and try and prove something to themselves and to the teams around them.
I'm sure we could talk about every single one of these teams Imperium playing today for absolute ages, but we'll just stop back, just push back a little bit and wait until we jump on game number 1 on Erangel. And talking about game number 1, let's go over the entirety of the schedule for today's broadcast. We'll be kicking off, as I just said, with Erangel, then we'll be followed up with some Sanhok action, Miramar and Erangel, copy-paste of yesterday's format, but just for Group C versus Group D. Still not Vikendi. Vikendi will be coming up tomorrow, so if you guys are a fan of that map, definitely you do want to hit that subscribe button, and you'll be notified tomorrow at 8 PM CET when we do go live for those third day's game coming your way. And yeah, just can't wait to go into it. But anyways, Imperium, Erangel is going to be our very first game for these 2 groups facing up against each other. And I think there are a few teams that have been shown to dominate here. I think, of course, Red Reserve, Elevate, they're really good on the map. But, do you think maybe other than those 2 teams specifically, there would be, maybe another one that has a really big potential of securing himself a game, even potentially 2, on the Erangel games of today?
I don't know if outside of Red Reserve and Elevate, and no disrespect to any of the other teams in these 2 set of groups, I don't think there's any other team that has the really super strong potential of capturing 2 chicken dinners in these set of 4 games. But that doesn't really matter too much. But if you're talking about teams that can capture chicken dinner, sorry.
One step too early, Imperium, in the dinner.
You'd even be looking at Accelerate as well, who were also previously known as Animal Squad. They're a really strong team with a lot of potential. They have a really strong background. They're humbled by their opportunities, and their IGL Kapahala has a lot of talent. So I'm expecting Accelerate to put in a really strong performance and possibly get a chicken dinner.
Yeah, because they just said they are the old roster of Team Animal Squad. And if you guys do not remember who are part of that team, is Sakuru, Reki, X0, and Kapahala. Sakuru and Reki, those 2 players, they were absolutely insane, especially towards the end game of our Pro U scrims. And I'm really looking forward to what they can bring to the table today. I think they're a team that has been somewhat consistent. Maybe they're not the most consistent, not Red Reserve / Elevate types of consistent, but I think they're a team that has a pretty good shot. And anyways, any kind of surprises could happen today, Imperium, right? Because we remember yesterday,
of course,
Next What an absolute insane bunch of games they had. Their smallest ranking position in the 4 games yesterday was 4th position. And they almost hit a 100-point bomb in one day. And they were a team in, the Pro U scrims. They were good. They were in the top 50% of the teams, but not really outstanding, like, for example, Cream or Elevate or Red Reserve. No, they were just there. But now they're coming up to the party, and I'm expecting a few of these teams to pull off the next, if we can call it already like that.
Yeah, that could be something like pulling off the next. And, I mentioned it yesterday. Scrims is always something where, you try different things. You're not necessarily try-harding. It's a different kind of mentality. You're testing rotations, strategies, etc. So I was expecting different in the competitive setting compared to scrims. I just wasn't expecting it to be next, with all due respect to them. I do want to give a huge shout out, though. We didn't mention that yesterday because they weren't really playing, and we kind of forgot as well. But a little belated happy birthday to Sanhok from Red Reserve. It was his birthday yesterday. He's playing in today's games, and let's hope he has a bit of belated birthday look. He is the IGL, and let's see if he can lead his team to a chicken dinner or two.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't the first day that they were playing where it could have been absolutely insane for storytelling if it was actually his birthday when they started playing, but that will not be the case. But still, happy birthday, delayed from 24 hours, Sanhok, and I hope you had an absolutely fantastic day, and I hope that you and your team has a great performance in today's games. I mean, they are one of the 2 teams, in today's group matchups in Imperium, that are supposed to step up to the party line. Hopefully have a really good performance. Anyways, with that said, we are slowly going to be jumping in our game Imperium. I want to quickly talk about one team specifically that hasn't been talked about too much, and that's going to be actually Team The Real Deal. If you guys don't know The Real Deal, they were, what was the old team name? I forgot. It slipped away from me. Sorry? Oh, Persos. There you go, Persos. I reminded Imperium before the broadcast what it was, and I forgot it myself. There you go. Switcherino coming up. But The Real Deal then. So during PMCO scrims, on the first, maybe 2 weeks, they were, very inconsistent team, but on the last 2 weeks before PMCO actually started breaking out, they have been one of the teams that just showing up every single game on any map. The map was not even part of the question. They were just such a consistent team, and I think that today in these games they're going to be insane, because let's not forget that inside of The Real Deal, their IGL is going to be Bujo. And Bujo has been a PMCO connoisseur for quite some time in 2019. He was part of Kurt's squad. Unfortunately, couldn't quite go to the LAN in Berlin during Spring Split, but he was a player that allowed Kurt's squad to qualify for that event, and I think that experience as an IGL to allow his team to go to a LAN event in Imperium is going to be definitely really rewarding for the group stage and the entirety, of the European stage of PMCO.
Yeah, I totally agree. Another team I want to highlight, especially because they're a team that did not feature in any of the Pro EU scrims, and also, especially considering the circumstance of them as a team, would be CIA. Sorry, no, not CIA, F1 Gaming. So F1 Gaming are actually Vietnamese players who live in different parts of Europe, and they joined together for the PMCO EU region. And it's kind of unique and it's interesting. I think that means that we're going to see maybe a couple of surprises, something different. And as I said, there's a certain level of unknownness with this team.
Definitely going in the unknown is where most of these teams are going to be going for this first game Imperium. We're just about to drop on this good old fancy map of Erangel. The 2 games of Erangel yesterday were absolutely insane. I was not expecting the circle shifts, and how teams played them were definitely pretty outstanding. We'll be seeing anyways how that will be coming on through. And yeah, so we got a few teams that we are definitely going to be on the lookout. And as always, we said it yesterday, we said it today once again. If you have a team that you are supporting, any team that it might be, if you're even the mum of one of the players, please let it be known in the chat. We'd love to know which teams you are supporting, and also it can give a little bit of a moral boost over to the teams. It can go a really long way in the environment of esports. Yeah,
of course, and a lot of these teams have a lot of weight on their shoulders. They have a lot of they have a lot of pressure on their backs of what they've been kind of what has been leading up to this moment. And I know that some of these players are incredibly nervous, but they're also excited. I was talking to Will. He's super excited from Elevate. He's ready to get into it. He's been doing constant training, games to really be prepared for this moment. And yeah, I'm expecting good things from this Elevate side.
Elevate is definitely a team that we are all looking out for. I mean, during Pro EU scrims, right, they got themselves 4 chicken dinners in a row at some point, and on every single map individually. So they are definitely on the lookout. Here it is. That's going to be a pretty northern playing path. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. We do have Team Legend in this lobby. They love to go for Pomorsк. Hopefully, they won't be contested like they were in the last few game of scrims. Team Push always going to go in that kind of also global area. But still going straight up to Stolbert/Kameshki, so it's still a pretty good playing path. Military base going to be pretty much out of the question. Same for Milta. Milta's an area that Elevate love to drop there every single time, Imperium. But if you really want to try and get yourself to that position, you can just drop towards the area of Score of Pachinki, find yourself a car and rotate. You can even go out the northern side of Mansion and towards Yasnaya Poliana and rotate on the eastern coastline. But still, they should be able to get there if they really have the intention of going for a long drop.
AK-47 looking to land up in North George. That's a pretty standard drop spot for them. But early action going on as Team Push and MVP Magic does get the first kill of the day. Good stuff from Team Push.
Off to a good start. That's going to be the very first game of this matchup between Group C and Group D. Still, they're a little bit mixed up. Danny on the rooftop playing himself with that M4. Hopefully not too many early game fights will be coming on through. Bloodshed early game is never a good thing, but Danny's going to get surrounded. Hoppa, Bobby, Magic are here, and they're ready to show up to the party. After Hoppa is mainly a sniper, you know, he's absolutely insane. Not too sure how it's going to really pay off in these short kind of areas. But now that Varma also got the information, they're going to try and breach him 1v4, and I don't think the MVP Gaming are going to be still with 3 members up in a few upcoming seconds.
Yeah, so for Team Push, Bobby is their IGL. They should just be going in hard on that. They got 3 players surrounded. Don't take your time. Don't give Danny a chance to move around the house. Even though he hasn't got that much space, go in as a 2 to 3 man team. Go full send. You've allowed him to get a smoke off. That in itself is making it tougher for you, even though you're nice play. Good stuff from Danny. Gets a knock on the Vam at 69. And that's what I talked about. Giving Danny too much time, too much space.
Also, they are pushing into the staircase where you have to go up 1 by 1. Does fall down, doesn't take any full damage, but now he really wants to try and deny that res away. He does not, otherwise he knows he's losing an opportunity to potentially take the clutch. But now he's running for his sheer life. Took a little bit of damage down, super low, and he's going to get knocked away by Bobby. They're instantly going to flush it out. And that will be their second point in this game. Very unfortunate the MVP decided to split push, especially on the western coastline, because we know Imperium that the western coastline for this lobby of Group C versus Group D is actually pretty stacked most of the time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Of course, the Phase 1 circle has actually gone very central with regards to the whole map, so that's going to make it pretty easy for a lot of these teams to rotate depending on where they landed. Red Reserve, they did change their team tag to RR simply because there's another team in the PMCO with a similar team tag, and they want to make sure that there is no mistakes there. They want to maintain their identity, so to speak, not that they're in any way mixed up. And so they've gone for the RR tag as Elevate now, looking to rotate. They always like this split drop around Milta and Milta Power, loot up, get those little small compounds around there, and then make their way into the circle depending on the phase.
They didn't go for a very long drop. They made it up there, and like if you are the only team on that area, you're going to get most of the loot pretty nicely and quickly because it's got pretty decent loot at this stage. And also, no teams try to contest. Like, who would try to contest Elevate? Because throughout the entirety of the scrims, right, they always dropped in Milta unless, like, really hard playing for them. So really, no team's going to contest them. They're going to have a nice, easy early game that will lead them into the late game where they get a lot more aggressive. Early, mid-game, they do absolutely nothing almost, but when it gets late game, they shift so fast and react to the circle in a matter of 5 to 10 seconds, and they are gone. Yeah. Dead center circle, better position they can, and just flush all the teams they can.
And as we look over up in the South George area between We Are Vietnamese and Magic, We Are Vietnamese are another team which it's a little bit more obvious in their name. They are a bunch of players who are from Vietnam, but they do live in different areas of Europe, and they've come together, entered into the PMCO. They haven't looked the strongest in the Pro EU scrims that we've casted, to be perfectly honest, Max, but this is, like I said, this is the blank slate, so there's every opportunity for them to get some positive results. We saw it from LAKONOSTRA. I didn't really kind of put too much pressure on the LAKONOSTRA to get good results, but they did put in some positive results yesterday, so it could be the same with We Are Vietnamese.
as we look out now at this phase 1 circle, as you said, pretty central, not going to have too much of an issue, just so much room to play with. Hate Gaming, they're going to be just alone really in the southern side in military base, so that should be fine. But we have enemies and Magic pretty close. AK-47, I like the fact that they went actually for northern George Pole. Normally they always go down for the south, but they got contested so many times in the scrims, so they're like, okay, we understand the value in PMCO to not die in 16th or 15th position, so we're just going to avoid that, go to northern George Pole, which has had such a drastic drop in terms of drop rate compared to southern George Pole. So I think that's a very smart decision from AK-47. Definitely playing the long game, and the long game is always what you want to try and do in a game of PUBG Mobile.
Team that I would worry about the most in the phase 1 circle would actually be CIA, who landed and got to Lipovka. The reason why is because even though this phase 1 circle is quite central, they've got Red Reserve and Elevate pretty much right ahead of them. They will have to shift and even go skill in. Yasmin, they're going to have to shift, you know, to really be safe. They would want to shift quite heavily away from those two teams to get into the circle, at least for now.
UDR killers, they're going to be in the good old compound of Pachinki, most central position. I mean, if you want to drop aggressive, that means your entire playstyle does seem to go pretty aggressive. Accelerate, they're going to be pretty close. Cast, I don't know what he's doing, pretty close to Pachinki there, towards Potato Hill. A split drop, I'm not too sure. Maybe there was a little bit of miscommunication or a little bit of an issue when they dropped, or maybe it's a different game strat, I don't know. Might have to actually ask him a few questions, class, later to know what was the idea behind that, because right now I don't think it's too rewarding. After it does help them for future rotation, like a little bit further down the line.
Don't forget he's IGL.
Also,
okay,
yeah.
So he's IGL, so he's probably playing the scouting game, scouting ahead, making sure he's pretty happy with where he is. He can give communication to the rest of his team, get an idea of what teams might be around him. Yeah, okay, that does potentially make the risk of him going down early on. We do see a car 9 being picked up. He picked up an 8 time. Sorry, just want to point that out. But yeah, I've actually no doubt that Elevate know exactly what they're doing. Kailas knows exactly what he's doing. Because when I looked at Elevate early on in the Pro EU scrims, when I saw them, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't impressed with them. I really wasn't. They didn't look coordinated. They looked very passive. But come a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on, they are looking very, very dangerous, whether it's early game, middle game, and especially late game.
Definitely, I've been really proud of Accelerate on their performances. And, you know, they got picked up by an org, which is a really nice org. I had the chance of doing a little bit of work with them in terms of scrims. And it'd be interesting to see how their experience will be able to pay off in these games. As now, they're slowly going to rotate, so it seemed like they definitely had class up there towards Potato Hill as some kind of a scout to ease out their later game rotations to try and find a better position on the high ground. They're going to make it through, one by one, very slowly, very scarcely, but Elevate, as we said, they're very slow in the early game stage, so they're not going to go for anything aggressive, no breaches from them, I do think so, but they've got to be careful. You have Red Reserve on the top of the mountain, but because it's such a high position and such a big position in terms of landmass, the chances of them actually fighting each other out is actually pretty slim, and they're going to go straight over to fields around Pachinki.
Location of Red Reserve is always a little bit risky because Potato Hill, it's a great spot, but it's a little bit similar to Everest in terms of you want to make sure that you have that area completely locked under your control, because if you don't, you can easily have a team creep up or even two teams creep up and from all directions, and you can find yourself getting flushed out. Red Reserve, they're looking confident for now. The phase 2 shift does go a little bit down southwest, but it's not too hard. It's not too crazy. These teams will be able to just shift accordingly, as we do see Sonic from Red Reserve finding Pocus from Elevate.
Yeah, gonna spray him down, but unfortunately the range is pretty big, and he doesn't have a great scope on that mini, so Pocus will make it out unscathed. Still gonna give it a shot though, you never know, might get a nice headshot, as we saw from Powerbang on his Twitter earlier. That was absolutely insane. If you guys did not check that out, Jesus. We'll keep on going. Anyways, phase 1 circle shift again on the west. We haven't seen an eastern circle shift on these games of Erangel yet in Pyramid. I would really like to see it, because I think the east circle shifts are actually a lot harder on the teams than the west. I don't know why. It's just an impression that I have throughout all the games I had the chance to cast. It's just east seems a lot harder to play with compared to the west, and I would like to see a little bit of an eastern rotation coming out pretty soon, but here it is. Team push. They're going to get a little bit breached by 2 members of UDR Killers. They flush out 1. Be careful, Ulysses, but still they have 2 snipers on the mountain, on the backside. Going to give some nice assistance to allow their member, Ulysses, to get back to them. but they will not be able to find a one-on-one trade, and the res will indeed come on through.
Yeah, Team Push doing a good job of pushing back the members of UDR Killers, and that's exactly what you need to do. We saw from Sanhok earlier on, it wasn't necessarily looking to actually knock down Pocus, it's pushing the team back away from your location, and that's exactly what Team Push has done, forcing UDR Killers to rotate away. And also, Team Push will have an idea of where UDR Killers, and that is information. Information is power in the world of PUBG Mobile, Max. It means that you can dictate how you rotate around it, your information on where the other teams are around you.
OVN Esports rotating right next to Elevate. Oh, but though Victor just dropped out for a split second, took 20 damage. The spray was the DP will not do quite as much work as intended, but that is fine. There's a compound a little bit further down there, so they'll be taking that one for themselves. OVN Esports has been a team that has been actually really good, not Erangel, not Miramar, but Vikendi and Sanhok have been maps that they've been actually doing really good on. They've been super consistent on those two maps. So I'm really looking out for the second game on Sanhok to see how they can pull off their performance. But Elevate still just moving around, trying to set up their compound and getting a few cars potentially under their control. Really waiting to be as reactive as possible for phase 3 circle shift.
Yeah, it's always so important to have as many vehicles in your arsenal as possible, so that rotation, you can use those vehicles late game as protection, as essentially a rock. You blow it up, that is going to be able to get you in a position where you can be protected away from the bullets fired up from other people. Red Reserve in the high ground above UDR Killers, spreading themselves out quite nicely, creating a lot of space, and that's confidence from Red Reserve for now.
Also, I gotta say, the area where Red Reserve is currently located is one, well, in my opinion, is one of the best positioned in these kind of circles, because it gives you so much information on where teams are rotating. As you said, information is power in the world of PUBG Mobile, and also because it's straight next to a field. That means you're covering so much land mass in terms of just being able to observe it and see where teams are going and trying to guess and set up your future rotation. So I think that they got a really nice spot to play with. As now circle shift. Oh, that's a pretty hard shift. Imperium straight on down south with still a pretty nice amount of water in play. That means that about, what, 20 to 30% of this circle is actually unplayable at this point, Imperium. AK-47.
What a hard circle shift coming out in phase 3. Absolutely ridiculous. It is going to force a lot of teams up in the north to rotate a little bit more heavily and carefully, as you see AK-47 and Ghost Skilla popping off shots at each other.
Yeah, not able to do too much there. Buriam with the Kar 98. Never know. Try a 360 no-scope. Might connect, and you'll look awesome. But at this point, really, the high ground is mainly in the advantage of a Ghost Skilla. Might be a little bit tricky, and also they're a lot more spread, because that's the reason why they lost Rana there. Try to go for a different position, and unfortunately got knocked away during that rotation. And they're going to have to go across the fields, this open area, if they want to try and save him. Viper's going to try and go for it, and he's going to get normally sprayed down by Savage X. Gotta be very careful of how he pulls this one off, but this should be a nice kill with the M4. Here it is, the spray comes on through, hits 1, hits 2, hits 3, and there you go! Viper will drop down, and that means that should be an easy 2 extra frags in the pockets of Ghost Skilla.
It was also great communication from Ghost Skilla, because it wasn't just Savage X that was shooting at him, it was Elot as well, and now as the vehicle drives through, AK-47 will look to try and get those revives. Ghost Skilla will not push too far for now. Are they actually going to get in those vehicles and breach it? I
mean, they don't want to give them enough time to res, which I do understand, but are they actually... No, actually, they're going another direction. Okay, it seemed like they do not want to stay in that current location. They were not in circle, so they're going to go and shift down south a little bit more. They will definitely slow down in their tracks to the opposing side. Elevate on the mountain now. They're giving their compound away, so that is fine. I mean, they didn't really give it away. They got a better position, just more center to the circle, so I think that's a really good trade-off on their side.
We are losing a couple of players from plays on UDR Killers and Red Reserve connecting onto each other. We did see a couple of kills, 4 already for Red Reserve. They have lost Muriel early on. It's a meme, but Muriel is nearly always the first person to go down for Red Reserve. And now as they push on the UDR Killers doing everything they can to keep themselves alive. It's one man left standing. That is Nano.
8 Gaming, Red Reserve, they're there, and there you have it. They're going to just take the last few shots, trying to connect it, but they didn't get the team squad wipeout. He's still there, just lurking. I'm surprised that they're not trying to fully commit. They have a direct line of sight on him, but they're just trying to play as safe as they possibly can. But here it is, another knockdown once again. Ulysses is up, just barely got res back, but they should try and flush them out, because definitely those points could get stolen away by Hate Gaming, and that would be very unfortunate to lose 2 easy kills.
Could we see a Kobe grenade for Ken? It's what he's known for. Job done from Ked, great play coming out from him. And that's a great way of executing a kill or squad wipe in this case without exposing yourself. Because Red Reserve, they know there's multiple teams around them, Max.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go for the nade a little bit earlier. But you know what? At the end, the result is the only thing that counts. We have the enemies. They got himself a nice position. At least they are somewhat on the coastal line, and also the Circle Shift back in the mainland. So they got a nice position to hold. Same for Magic, actually, down in the south. Then you got to occupy and focus on 180 degrees of land in front of them. So they got a nice chill position to play with. But this is exactly Imperium, the same circle as Game 1 yesterday, where it was actually taken over by Next. Yeah. So we're going to have a repeat on this one. It's actually almost the same, I think.
To be honest, all the teams that are inside the circle, they don't really have to move. They're in good position. It's the teams that are up in the northeast, outside the circle. Those are the teams that are going to have the hardest job for now.
Yeah, definitely you want to try and avoid getting pressured by the blue zone, as Red Reserve still trying to take their shots. But we have enemies. You know, right now they chill in terms of, like, they're not going to get pressured by too many squads. But if the circle shifts up north, they are definitely going to be having a hard time, and they're going to have a run for their money. Hopefully this will not be too harsh upon this Vietnamese team. Now, it's only going to be 2-1. Where's it going to take us? Imperium, and it shifts in. Oh, no, I thought, no, I see the blue zone closing. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take a sip of my drink, and I'll let you take it.
It's cool. So, I like the fact that these two teams just popping shots off in the direction of each other, not really exposing themselves too much. Jip from Red Reserve doing their best to hold on, get information, use that third-person perspective, and then you have the real deal rotating in. Hake aiming up on top of the hill could catch him out on the rotation, as Hake just try and keep an idea on where everybody is.
Oh, Red Reserve, they're going to get pushed upon by the real deal. Here you go. They get one onto Sonic, and they instantly flush him out. Ked is going to have to try and hold this one up. Can they make it work out on this own in the gas station? It is pretty hard for them to hold. It was now only 2 members. Ked going to go for another nade. Can he get the Kobe once again? We'll see on the kill feed if it does happen. Accelerate also getting involved with Elevate, and you know that getting involved with Elevate in the start of the late game stage is definitely going to get pretty tricky for you. Elevate still taking it pretty slow and being very respectful of Accelerate's composition.
Kapahala, the IGL, going for a grenade around the corner. It doesn't quite connect for now, but it could push back the members of Elevate, allowing him to disengage. It's not always the ideal situation for a grenade, but it's a great use of it should you need to rotate it away. As Sakuro going for another one across the wall. Oh. That could be very close connecting. Goes a little bit too far, but it's in the right path.
A little bit undercooked, but that's fine. Poker's going to try and fight back with his own nade. And Sakura going for another one. Trying to find an engaging knockdown. If they get it, they're probably going to try and commit. But I don't think that Reki or Novaz are in any... Well, no, actually, I'm tricking out the wrong ones. But, like, they have 2 members of Accelerate on the front line trying to get a knockdown with the nades. And, like, if they get a frag, how are they going to actually push it? Because they're so split and they're not able to follow up on the engagement so quickly. So I think the Accelerate got to try and reposition. Pocus nades himself. That was definitely way overcooked. Gordon Ramsay must be looking down on you with shame. But now Accelerate, they're finally going to go for the breach. But look, they only got 2 members doing so. And this is definitely not going to work out. They lose Sakura. And where are you, Accelerate? This is not how you'd engage this.
Oh my god. Pocus buffering himself in the worst possible way with that self-nade. Although Kalas was the savior, helping to get that first knockdown onto the players of Accelerate. Accelerate tried to go for the push. Of course, you are seeing the third party from Hate Gaming up the hills above could punish either Accelerate or Elevate, but Elevate are definitely more protected. They are more together. It's looking a little bit risky. Zuko goes in with the grenade, backs off. Good stuff from Elevate, but Accelerate are definitely looking a bit weak.
Yes, solo Kapahala going to try and go for the res, but... No, Elevate still, once again, being very respectful, as I did mention here. He's going to try and force out of the shed. Going to try and get the fight, but he does get knocked away. Accelerate losing members one by one. They'll drop in like flies. And at least they got a nice compound under control, but it's not going to be very valuable because in just a few seconds, we'll be shifting and the Blue Zone will be closing up upon Phase 5. We'll have to see how Accelerate can survive this encounter. Elevate, they're going to have to try and shift. I think they still got a few cars in their vicinity that they breached with, so they should be able to go down south a little bit more, but this is the exact circle almost Imperium, but not anymore because it shifted down towards the coastal line.
Yeah, and he's going to favor MVP who are inside the circle, along with Magic, who are going to do their best to push teams away. We're down to 11 teams. 35 players, hate rotating into a circle, but Militia of MVP connects and gets the knockdown and the confirm, if I'm not mistaken.
MVP, yeah, it was only Leon and Militia going to try their best. Militia, absolutely outstanding player of his team. Can't wait to see if he can have a good, nice attempt for this first chicken dinner of the day for their group. Now, Hate Gaming, unfortunately, they had to rotate away from the Plateau Forest. Now they're in a little bit of a dip with the smoke saving them from harm. But for how long might that be? As I said, Militia going to absolutely pop off on CIA. Going to get Jaguar dying. The play zone is going to claim Zuki from Elevate. And it's starting to become a reality in Imperium. The blue zone, just like yesterday, being a really big threat. They get also classed. Elevate. What is going on?
Let's see what happens. We are looking at Magic. Skirt from Magic and the rest of the team trying to push the players away. Hate got an ideal location, but it's pinched in between MVP and Magic. It is a bit of a dip. Grenades could go against them. Let's see what happens. Ked does die out after being knocked down, leaving Jip the last person standing for Red Reserve, as goes Skilla trying to find anybody and everybody that it can.
During that fight, also Accelerate did die out, so now down to top 10 Imperium. Vikendi Esports, unfortunately, with those smokes in an open area, they are definitely going to struggle once those smoke are going to be wearing off. They're going to lose Doyle, and they are going to be eliminated in 10th position. Now it's starting to all come together. With only a piece of that compound still remaining, the next circle shift might even be harder on these teams. But Goskilla is still in play, and they have a nice position to play with. Not too central, but one team is definitely in a lot of trouble. That's going to be Magic, as they are surrounded by teams.
Another team we haven't really talked about is Team Legend. Team Legend have kept fairly quiet. They are down on that southeast side, southwest side of the circle, should I say. Just about in there, along with the likes of Goskilla. But look at that overview. All of these teams are outside the circle. Jip, we are Vietnamese, OVN. OVN are out in the open. Any second that they move, they're going to be hurt by Magic and Goskilla.
I mean, even when the smokes leave, they're going to have a really hard time. The circle does... Oh my god. All the teams on the east, they are an absolutely worst situation ever. Novaz is going to be left alone for his team. Hopefully he can try and just scrape a few more extra positioning points by just staying alive as long as he possibly can. But going for car rotation, I see that they are potentially looking for it. Oh, they are going to commit for the car shift. It seemed like it would be definitely really fast. Wait, it's a double-edged sword Imperium, or you get there safe and sound, or otherwise the team just locks you down and you get eliminated so quickly. They got already 2 members making it through to the compound of Magic, and the breach is kicking off Imperium, but Skirp is defending this one really strongly.
Go hard or go home. We are Vietnamese going in for the push, but it's not going to work out for now. Pre-fire coming out from side. One member of Vietnamese knocked down. That's going to be another member nearly knocked down. GV goes in, does knock down one member of Magic, but it's going to have to be Syed to get the job done for Magic. Middle of GV and Sod.
Oh, that's a really big pre-fire. Was the Scar going to go for it? But unfortunately, jumps a little bit too far in. And here we go. We are Vietnamese going to be claiming lives after life. And that's going to be the end of this squad. Very unfortunately, they're going to be taken out. We actually lost so many teams in those rotations. Here it is. The 2 other members. That's going to be Master and Naya. Going to try and go a little bit late, but they're still going to try and come in back. They flush it out. That's great. He knows where he's located, the last member. He goes for the spray. And here you go. Magic going to fight it back. And they eliminate that squad in 7th position. Down to top 6 Imperium. And now we're going to have still the circle shift still closing up and just about to show up phase 7. But Jip, she will be unfortunately bleeding out to the blue zone. Not giving kills away at least.
Yeah, exactly. That was a little bit dirty of an engagement. It nearly worked out for Vietnamese. A little bit weak on the defense coming out from Magic, but they have survived with 1 member up. And more importantly, it is still inside the circle. MVP are in this game. We're down to the last 5. Hate have done a great job, along with Team Legend, who I said have kept so quiet, but the snakes are out. Will it work out? 1 shot. Misses its chance, and that's going to be the end of Lure 1.
I mean, Hate Gaming, they got on this dip for the past, 3 to 4 minutes now, and they haven't got scattered by anyone because they were all fighting above the dip, so actually they were nice and safe. But now I think that the smokes are slowly wearing out, and they're not going to have them anymore for themselves to try and just stay in that position for as long as possible. But phase 6, there it is, and it's going to be actually on the sole member of Magic, which is Naya. But unfortunately, holding a compound as a one-man army is just going to be extremely hard to achieve Imperium. We'll see how it goes. But Goskilla, I think they got the better position in this game potentially because they got a nice, easy breaching point. And if they know that this compound is overtaken by Magic, well, they might just go really aggressively to just take this one for themselves.
But the good thing for Naya is that he can allow the teams around him to take each other out. Third party, he might not get the chicken dinner. Actually, there's a high chance he won't get the chicken dinner, but at least by allowing the teams around him to take each other out, he'll be able to get an overall better place and position. He's done the job that he needs to do. Lisman snaking through, gets spotted out by MZ.
They're still 5th position despite their very passive game. Here it is, another breach coming out from Hate Gaming on Naya from Magic. I'm going to try and blow off that door. Try and get a little bit more visibility on know what is happening currently. But here it is, Hate Gaming, all the members made it almost over. Just missing one more on the backside. But Neymar, he's going to be the first casualty. Magic, oh my god, Naya, you're so damn low. But he will be able to res himself back up while Jajo's going for a res of his own.
That all the while, that gives GoSkilla a chance to come in from behind. We're down to the last 4 teams. It is Magic, Hate, GoSkilla. I'm not gonna lie. Is it Team Legend that's left standing? I'm not quite sure.
It's MVP Gaming.
No, it's MVP.
Is Militia. Oh, that nade perfect coming out from Savage X. That's going to be Magic taking out in 4th position. Now, MVP Gaming still snaking it, and Hate Gaming, they have no clue whatsoever on where he's located. So you said exactly for Naya that you just got to leave the other teams to fight it out. Now, this is exactly the situation that Militia is in. Just let Hate Gaming and GoSkilla fight each other out. GoSkilla going to try and slowly breach away from their compound.
It's still going to be hard for GoSkilla because I want to know how much information do they have. What I do like about GoSkilla is that they're basically going for 2 and 2 together with 2 members near each other. Although Militia snaking down, he has an idea of where the members of GoSkilla are. He doesn't want to shoot. He's going to wait out. All the while, Whitey and Hate, they're just looking at each other, throwing grenades, popping shots, waiting for that first knock come through, Max.
Circle Shift going to be pretty central, not going to have too much of an influence, just forcing out the teams closer to each other, which might actually be the stepping stone for this engagement. Going to blow up the car, nice play from MZ, just going to get that as extra kind of protection, which is definitely going to be good. But this is the 2-2 split that I wanted Accelerate to do when they got breached by Elevate, and I think that could have definitely worked out so much better for them, but GoSkilla, they are splitting up pretty nicely. And as you said, Militia, not taking the shots. Got a nice high ground position, so can't get scouted from this current location, and waiting for the fight to break out, and when it's over, that's when you want to try and pull the trigger and potentially try and steal a few kills and a chicken dinner away, which is definitely a high possibility seeing how this matchup is going up.
Oh my god, we're at a little bit of a standstill. This is the calm before the storm between these remaining teams, remaining players. Militia still snaking out. GoSkilla and Hate popping shots, but nobody wants to go for the push. Nobody wants to try and put this game in their control or in the palm of their hands. I would love to see one of these teams to just go full in breach, even if it's out in the open. I know it might not go against them, but this game is so close to ending. It has to happen soon.
Has to happen soon, but if you steal some nades at this point, that'd be great. I don't think that Hate Gaming has any more smokes. I think they use just way too many for the time being. We'll be seeing. Now slowly, oh, still they got Molly. I'm surprised they still have some. Okay, they're not getting too much. Here it is. They're finally using up that utility, trying to get everything they can out of their pockets to try and give them somewhat of a slim advantage on the opposing side. It's just now to see which team gets the first knock, and when they get it, they're going to fully commit. But let's not forget that Hate Gaming, they got only 3 members, whereas GoSkilla, they got 4.
That is definitely something to point out, but I think at this late stage of the game, how well Hate Gaming have played throughout this, I have no doubt that they could still turn this man advantage into a chicken dinner. All the while, Militia is bringing out his inner Jip, who is known as the best snake EU. Try and stay prone down and just wait for all the action to kick off. We are in the last phase. And Militia pops up. 1, 2... No, 2 knocks, 1 kill, but that's gonna leave it for Hate to come in. It's gonna be the end of GoSkilla. Hate Game and take it, but that was Militia being the thorn in the side for GoSkilla.
I want to see Hate Gaming and MVP Gaming having a firm handshake right now. That was a nice assistance almost from a Militia coming out and just getting 2 easy knockdowns. If he had a nade right there, Imperium, if he had 1 nade or molly and just chucked it, that could have been a 4-man kill with just 1 piece of utility. That could have been insane, but unfortunately that will not be the case. Still gets 2 knockdowns. That means that they got flushed away, but that still gets a few more points for them. So great job from Militia, but still, Hate Gaming, they gave themselves the first chicken dinner of this matchup of Group C versus Group D. With actually 5 kills up their sleeve. Not too bad, not too shabby. But Goskula also, they cannot be too sad about their performance. They have a nice amount of kills, and I think it's just also unexpected to have a member, which is Militia, a little bit higher up in a position that you scouted out ages ago. But still, I got to say, Goskula, very nice matchup for them on this first game.
But even if you look at from a kill point of view, there's no team that really stood out from a kill. It was very evenly spread out. Hey, getting 5 kills, Goskilla getting 5 kills, MVP getting 6 kills. It was very nicely spread out. And part of the reason that was, Max, is because the circle, outside of the few hardships we had towards the end, they were pretty nice, pretty clean, and allowed the teams to really not catch each other out too much. So the kills were kind of evenly spread nicely apart. And overall, that was just a really solid game. I also want to give a shout out to Team Legend and Magic. Magic especially, because up until towards the very end, they were just 2 players as well. So if they can get such a strong result, 4th place with 2 players up, what can they do when they have a full squad in late game?
Definitely. I really want to try and see what they can do. As a team that I've known for quite some time, they have so much energy because they've been playing for absolute ages. So they got just so much potential in these matchups. So they're a team that definitely want to keep on the lookout. And we'll see what they can do on the next game, which will be focused on Sanhok. But actually, the only team that got a double-digit kill count in Pyramid in this game is actually going to be Red Reserve. They got themselves 10 kills on this game. And I think it's because they've been fighting consistently from start to finish. But, like, not aggressively. Just, like, if there's a member really far away, they just go for a little peek. If they can get 1 kill, they'll get it. But without over-committing. And that just allowed them to get a decent amount of kills. Despite them only getting in 6th position, at the end of the day, those 10 kills are allowing them to hit their average per game pretty nicely.
Exactly, that's a really good point. And we know that they're an aggressive team. We know, that they have absolutely no problem fragging out. Like, I've talked about it so many times. You put Ked in front of a full squad, and I would easily put my money on Ked winning that squad fight. It's not that I'm trying to say he's the best player in the world, but I just know for a fact that he's incredibly dangerous. You put him down in a team that has the IGL, the calmness coming out from Sonic. You do have the danger from Jip, who's an incredibly talented player herself, and then of course Muriel, who's just so well rounded overall. I know I give him a lot of BM, but he's such a solid player and he has so much potential. He is mainly their sub. Agon isn't playing. He's still stepping in and getting the job done with Red Reserve.
Red Reserve, once again, like during the scrims, they've been an outstanding team, just securing so many wins, and just once again, consistency is key, and they showed up that they proved that point, exactly. So Red Reserve, Elevate, not chicken done on their very first game, but I think it's just a matter of time before they potentially get themselves one, because they showed up on these first game. The breaches of Elevate was so good, the consistency throughout the entirety from start to finish from Red Reserve has been present. And yeah, just great first game on Erangel, as always. Just a great start also like yesterday, but Imperium for the second day will be once again moving towards Sanhok. And I said it a little bit earlier that Sanhok, one team I'm really looking out for, that's going to be OVN Esports, because I think they got such a big potential on this matchup.
It just kind of depends on, like, I said it yesterday. Sanhok is the kind of game where, realistically, in my opinion, anybody can win. Mm-hmm. Absolutely anybody. Not only is it because it's known for third partying, there's a lot of snaking that's involved, but with the circle shifts, they can sometimes vary. They can be a little bit crazy. You've got those 3 islands that can come into play right from phase 1 up until the last phase. It is anybody's game in Sanhok. So yeah, I would overall agree. OVN, they've looked strong in Sanhok, but it's still anybody's game in that map.
Yeah, it's a little bit unsure to know which one can take on Sanhok, because it's definitely a little bit more aggressive map. But anyways, with that said, thanks so much for watching this first game. Myself and Imperium will be going for a very, very short break. We'll be back in just about 10 minutes, so stay tuned. We'll be back for game number 2 on Sanhok in just about 10 minutes. See you there. And welcome back. Thanks so much for waiting. We are ready to jump into our second game of our matchup of Group C versus Group D for today's PMCO European action. My name is Maxman. Once again, we're going to be joined with Imperium for our second matchup, which is going to be on Sanhok, and I can't wait to jump into it. But Imperium, we saw some pretty interesting things in the current standings of our matchups.
Yeah, so as we look in the overall standings, of course, the majority of the teams who are down in the in the bottom half have only played one game. But when you look up in the top half, you have Hate Gaming already in 11th place.
Yeah.
Already in 11th place on 25 points. Absolutely crazy start for them. And then even Go Skilla have done a great job of getting into the top 6.
Go Skilla and Hate Gaming in their very first game, they already overtaken the top 16, which is what some teams were able to achieve after 4 games yesterday in Imperium. They made it so quickly, and you know what? They hit the average of 25 points. So we didn't get the 100-point bomb yesterday from Next, but if they continue playing like this, Hate Gaming, they definitely have a shot for that 100 bomb. I know I seem like I'm very enthusiastic about the 100 bomb, but I really want to see one during these games. That would be actually pretty insane for me to check out. But anyways, we are slowly going to be loading up into our game a few minutes before we do jump into it. But while looking into Sanhok, I said we've got OVN Esports. I think the team has a really big potential in their matchup. But is there maybe another team that you might think that has a really good opportunity on this one, Imperium?
Red Reserve.
Red Reserve. Actually, I'm gonna double down on that one. You know what? Yeah, Red Reserve. They are insane on that.
Look, the reason why trying to look at it from a logical point of view is the fact that they are an aggressive team. Sanhok can favor aggressive teams. They also have played very well on that map in previous games I've seen. And when you look at Erangel's first game, and Ked got what, 7 kills?
Oh yeah.
You know, I would definitely put Red Reserve up there. Also, on a side note, quick shout out to Kim, their CEO, on a side note, who I've been speaking to over the last couple of weeks, just in the preparation of the PMCO, getting a few words from him, and his attitude is definitely a huge reason of why this team, are definitely looking stronger, because he's relaxed. He's able to put them in the right mindset, and really good job from him himself. So shout out to him. But yeah, Red Reserve, Sanhok, I can see them put in a very strong result.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out for that team. But not only them, also any team. After we do have Elevate, once again, they are going to be playing into this game of Sanhok. They like to play passive early game. And that definitely shows up in all the games we did see them play so far in the Pro U scrims. They mostly dropped southern side on the coastal line and just play so safe the entirety of the game, which is a little bit harder to achieve. So hopefully they're not going to get hot dropped by any other squad, because otherwise it could put them in a pretty precarious situation. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But yeah, going to be playing on Sanhok, a very aggressive map, a lot of snaking coming on through. Unfortunate that we don't have a Misali here. That would have been pretty fun to have the best snake EU around here, but we got a lot of really good snakes.
Yeah.
Is that a compliment or not? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, 100%. That's she lives by it. Now, of course, as we are going to be seeing the game spawn up soon, or should I say the game trajectory. We know when we're looking at the drop spots where these teams have an idea of where they want to land. When we looked at yesterday, like Cream always landed in Paradise Resort. Today, we'll see that Red Reserve will definitely go to boot camp. It's going to be interesting on if we are going to have any early game clashes in, let's say, Painan, or even down in Ruins, or maybe other areas of the map. We've seen in the scrims, Max, that the high areas, Hating, and the north side, they have been known to form 2 to 3 teams.
After one thing do you have to note also is that we talked about Red Reserve. Normally they always drop in boot camp, which I don't think they're going to change that after it was during scrim, so maybe they just wanted to hide their main drop location. But normally they always fight versus Throne in that location, but right now Throne is not in this group. That means that normally, if things go as planned, Red Reserve should have a really nice and easy early game. Cream are also not here, so Paradise Resorts should be relieved of some kind of pressure. So this should be a lot calmer and slower game, hopefully in those 2 hot drops. We'll keep an eye out. Of course, we're going to see Red Reserve dropping at the 50% drop of this play and going straight over to boot camp and overtaking the entirety of the loot, and no teams are going to try and contest that.
Yeah, Ghost Skiller look at the head towards the east side of this map, spread out quite nicely. Spreading yourselves up as kind of separate, kind of 2-on-2 or even 1-1-1-1 is definitely risky in Sanhok. It's okay to start with, but even before phase one starts closing in, you definitely want to join together as a full squad. But as we are seeing the teams looking to drop, like I said, 2 teams heading up in North Hating. You have 2 to 3 teams in Painan. I believe that's Magic and MVP. That could spell for a little bit of trouble as AK-47 and UDR Killers are up in Hating.
Yeah. Always Magic, a pretty big rivalry that they had, not only against MVP Gaming, but a lot of other teams are in the scrims. They love dropping there. They have been pretty, successful, at least at holding the compound for a pretty nice amount of time. And also, it's such a good area to play with early on because you control if yes or not you want to play aggressive against a specific team because of that river across the middle. So if you want to just go for Battle of Nox, you can do that. If you want to fully commit, you can do that because it's not too hard to cross, but still, you might get put a little bit of a pressure by doing so. But yeah. I do like Painan, I think, is one of the earliest drops to go for. They are actually one of the nicest to play with because you can control that kind of pace. But anyways, I'm looking out for this phase 1 circle shift. Where might it take us? I would like to see a little bit of a mountaintop kind of finish, Imperium. But you know what? Ask and he shall be served. Going to go straight up north. Okay.
Damn you! I don't like that high ground north. Finish, to be perfectly honest. I'd love to see a northeast finish up around kind of
finishes there. Yeah.
It never really finishes there. But either way, the phase 1 will favor the likes of the teams that are kind of in the north side. UDR Killers and AK-47 Team Legend should start to make a pretty swift rotation up there. They landed on the far west coastal line, just to the west of Hate Gaming. So they're going to have an easy access into that northwest side of the circle. They can maybe go to possibly Camp Alpha if they want to, or stay up in the high ground area, which is going to be pretty much hot property.
After, the point I was talking about on Painan earlier, does kind of replicate in the compound that UDR Killers on AK-47 are also in, because you got so many cross-section. You can see all the buildings are crossed out by one pretty big road. So you decide if yes or not you want to play aggressive. So I'm not really expecting too much to happen in Hatin. Depends on the 2 teams. After we do know that AK-47, they like to play aggressive, but showing how they showed their drop going northern side of George Pole on the last game of Erangel, I think that they are definitely have an intention of playing a lot slower.
But here's the thing. What I envision on this team fight, remember yesterday when we saw GSMC and PedjaDBoy fight up in the north on Miramar, and they both got punished because of it, because they were too passive. They both players kind of died to the blue zone, etc. I envision something similar from these 2 teams. I don't expect these 2 teams to be super aggressive on each other. And in the time that we're going to have phase 1 closing in, they're going to get caught out by the teams that are rotating into Northwest Island.
As we focus back over this fight, they're taking a few shots to get their position. Mark is very far away, way too far away in my personal opinion, and they're not too close together. So if a fight does break out, they might have actually a hard time defending himself. But AK-47, they are still being very wary, being very cautious, trying to potentially rotate through the northern side of Hatin, which I think is a pretty safe one. But now, UDR Killers, they are definitely going to play a lot slower. UDR Killers are not a team known for their aggressive game style in early game. So, not really too much of a surprise to me, but we have enemies taking a few shots. Well, mainly Kush, which is actually alone. And where's the rest of his squad? I don't know.
He has been the scout trying to push teams back. That's always a little bit risky when you fire off against a team that are rotating and you're on your own, because on one hand, yeah, you can push a team back, but then on the other hand, if that team in any way feels that you're on your own, they could turn around and you could find yourself getting taken out. But either way, it has worked out for Kush for now. One of these teams need to back off, heavily back off. AK-47, I staying in Hatin. I like the fact that UDR Killers does seem to be disengaging. It's good stuff from UDR Killers.
Bujo. Perfect duo on top of Daddy and Bujo, as I had the chance of talking to Bujo right before Imperium, and he was talking to me about a strat of actually counting kills in the kill feed to see how many players are potentially alive. So I guess he's got a piece of paper next to him and he's counting every death in the kill feed. And I told him it's actually really good because if you get knocked down, for example, on a member in a compound and you get the information on which team is holding the compound, you check your piece of paper and you say, oh wait, earlier in the game, they already lost 2 members to a fight with, for example, I don't know, Magic. and we can actually take it because we're 4v2. So I said that is very important and is actually really good. It's hard to do though, to be able to focus on a piece of paper and your gameplay at the same time, but it can give you a decent advantage in terms of like game knowledge.
Here's the thing, the way I would look at it is you don't use that piece of paper as a core. You know, you look at it, you write it down because there's a higher chance you're going to remember it when you write it down, so you don't have to necessarily look at the piece of paper. You just have it like if you have somebody in your shoulder kind of say reminding you of something. That's what that piece of paper does. It helps you remember what is going on, and in the fast-paced action that PUBG is, that can definitely be a benefit. As do see, we are Vietnamese, the real deal, up on the high ground. Could we see them being caught out? The two teams are, for now, in the mainland, inside the circle, just going to look to rotate. A little bit of a passive start. We haven't seen too many people go down. We still got 15 teams up in this lobby. We did start with 15 teams. That means we're just going to see these teams rotate for now, get into a bit of a solid location. I'm actually even surprised with the amount of vehicles that are being used so far in Sanhok Max.
Is phase 1 is about the only time you can actually allow yourself to use it, so I won't be too harsh on them. But of course, cars, bikes, anything like that, it's not a really good thing to use because it gives your location away. We saw that earlier, we are Vietnamese, they used a car, did a 2-2 split, and they gave their location away to the real deal. So you can see that they're being very cautious when they start looking up that northeastern location. So information, once again, is power, and they're going to try and use it to their full potential. But back over, we're going to see MVP and Magic just going for a little bit of a battle of knocks. Shouldn't result in too much at this point. And also because if Magic really want to commit, they've got to go through the open area. So got to be very careful, but still, heavy firepower coming out from MVP.
But look at where MVP are. They're on that trifecta position that we mentioned yesterday. It is somewhat the golden position when this circle is in this location. They can make easy access depending on where the next circle does shift up. They can go in between the three islands. Great position from MVP.
CIA, they're going to get breached by Elevate. Elevate, they got a great breach last game on Erangel. They're going to try and retaliate and get another great one this time around. Class all being solo, he actually gets a knockdown. And here it is, they're just cleaning up CIA, baby. And there you have it, CIA will get taken down and eliminated in 15th position. That was the cleanest engagement I've ever seen. They lost nobody in the engagement. Class almost going down, but not quite.
Good, clean fight from Elevate. Got the first knock. Took the time. The revive did come out, but at that point, it was too little too late for CIA. Elevate came in. Class, being the IGL, was forward, thinking, aggressive, and then the rest of the team closed out the fight. Good stuff from Elevate. Communication paying off. Now, a team legend. They have UDR killers in their sights. Team Legend going for a really sharp western coastline position in that northwest island, kind of really playing for that position where it's going to stay there. We could see it shift down, which could punish them, but they are sticking to their convictions. And of course, there's advantages and disadvantages to that, Max.
Get over to OVN. They're going to be a team that, as I said, I really enjoy their playstyle on this map. They're playing on the edge of the water, which is pretty nice. Not too close to the cross-section, which is great. Like we saw Team Attila kind of use it yesterday, but they rotated so late they didn't really turn into effect. But got Skiller getting pretty close to Team Push. They lost Hopper right off the bat. Hopper being one of the best snipers I've seen in the scrims. Often, no, you know, sniping on Sanhok doesn't really go together, but still unfortunate to lose him right off the bat. But Smoke or a bit of utilities could try and get him back up on his feet. But Goskiller was that high ground position. They're not going to let Bobby or Yama just cross over to him.
But Team Push, they know that Albi is there, but do they know the position of the rest of Goskiller? But this is where the snakes come out. Never mind snakes on a plane. You got snakes on Sanhok. Savage X now rotating around. I do like the position where Goskiller are. They have many angles, but with the dips and the downhill, that could favor Team Push. Plus the fact that they have rocks around them that they can help to reposition them.
Hopper just trying to stay in that smoke vine as much time as possible. They're letting Goskiller push upon them, which I guess gives them a little bit more time to fight back, but also that means you're giving them a better opportunity to take you down. Bobby going to go for the spray. Does get one, but unfortunately can't get the second. And I believe that was even Whitey or Savage. Yeah, actually, Savage X just absolutely popping off, and Whitey did get the frag on Bobby. there you go. They gave himself 4 kills in that engagement as the circle shift is coming up. Imperium, where might it go? This is why the cross-section is so valuable. MVP Gaming, they can shift to any area, even though you're pretty sure that the southern island is not going to be involved in any way, shape, or form, but still allows you to rotate or to the east or to the north, as now UDR Killers, they're going to get sprayed down by Team Legends.
Yeah, as I said, Team Legend, they don't have to worry about what's going on behind them. They can solely focus on what's ahead of them. And what is ahead of them is the side of UDR Killers. And now we're going to see phase 2. Where is it going to go? It's going to shift a little bit up north, but it's still heavily inside the mainland and Northwest Island as Sandro with the Uzi silencer gets a knockdown.
Yeah, Joker going to go straight down the same path, but a lot more passive, you know, a lot more careful. He's going to try and chuck up that node. He knows that Sandro is located there. Lizman, be careful to not get flushed out. Or that nade just going to go straight to the feet of Joker, but it doesn't do anything, though. The nade does put Lizman pretty low, and the second nade will confirm the frag. Sandro just moves on back, goes for a second one. I've got to say, that was a pretty nice defense, and because of that third-person perspective behind the rock, I think that Team Legend were a little bit too aggressive and didn't really pay attention to his surrounding.
Look at that one member of UDR Killers from the far west coastal line that's behind Team Legend. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And for a swim.
Although maybe that was a core move. Maybe Predator meant to do that. Hey, look, it's risky. It's a bold move. I don't think it'll pay off. But if it does, it'll be a good one, Cotton.
Yeah, jumping into the water can be rewarding in some way. Also, it can be your downfall, as if you do get knocked in the water, you're instantly flushed out, so that'll be an easy kill for UDR Killers. But at least they're straight next to this coastal line, so you can't get shot at from this high ground position. So in some way, it is safe for the time being, as we'll see how that pays off on the long run. Anyways, right now, not much really happening.
No, not too much happening. So let's have a bit of a look at kind of where these teams do need to rotate. Because the circle did shift up a little bit to the north, Max, there is a lot of space on that north side that is unoccupied. So teams that are down south will have, will have to kind of, push up a little bit. There is plenty of space where the teams can rotate to the west or to the east of that south side direction. Red Reserve are going for a bit of a 2-2 split between the Northwest Island and the mainland. That's a very valuable move, but it does kind of spread themselves out a little bit thinly as a team, but I do like it as a strategy, and all the while accelerate. That's one of the teams that are down south having to move their way up into the circle.
Going for a few late rotations, Magic and Accelerate going to be pretty slow on that one, but they are now scouted out. Not going to take the shots. I do like the Accelerate, just avoided pulling on the trigger just now. The reason why is because if they get scouted in the blue, this is phase 2. It's not too much tick damage, but if you get knocked away in the blue, you will bleed out even faster, and you just have a little bit of a harder time to set up your aggression. So they're going to let Magic just go out, not taking the shot, and they'll just find themselves a nice, better position to play with. They're still got to cross a river, and because MVP Gaming were basically in that position on a cross-section, they might get in a little bit of a hassle to try and shift towards phase 2. Hopefully, Magic and Accelerate will be able to make it out pretty much unscathed, as Class just going to be running into the open. He's going to be the YOLO player for his team, going on the at the scout position, and hopefully not going to get flushed away by UDR Killers.
No, it's a matter of if Nano knows here. I think Kaylas has a bit of an idea. Rotating quite nicely. That's it from behind. Nano gets knocked down. Nice fire coming out from Elevate. Will they be able to confirm the kill? UDR Killers still have 3 players up. No, or do they? Yeah, do they still have 3 players up? Yeah, they do.
Also, I have to say on the broadcast, sorry if Imperium's voice is a little bit robot, puts us a little bit in a futuristic vibe, so that is fine. We'll try and get that fixed ASAP. But now, Elevate, they just push away UDR Killers. The UDR Killers had no intention of defending the compound. Was it really worth it? I would say no. I think that's actually a pretty good play from UDR Killers. The reason why is because the compound is on the very edge of the circle, and known as Elevate, you saw the kill feed. They got the first knockdown. You might want to try and just avoid fighting Elevate for a compound, which is not even worth it on the long run. Here it is, Circle Shift, going to go still center, a little bit high up north on the west. Hatton will still be somewhat involved, but we still got this river, which might be a really decisive factor in this game. Red Reserve, they had 2G splits across the river, and we'll be seeing they're going to try and definitely get back together. Muriel and Ked going to drop back through the river, get back over to Jip and Sonic, as they are definitely going to need every member, as they still have to shift heavily up north.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, right? It is hard for those teams that are down south to have to shift their way up north. We saw that Accelerate and Magic were doing a great job by splitting out and one going to the west and one going to the east and make their way across. It's nice to play, but let's see if it does pay off as UDR killers dancing around the bullets. Nice dodging from Elevate.
Push it forward once again. Predator just from Team Legend trying to keep their hopes alive as Will. Nice spray coming out from Ulysses on the M4. But he's got at least that building to use as protection. Pokers, unfortunately, might be going down pretty soon. Will does get flushed away. And that's going to be Elevate, losing two valuable members on their side. Going to be only Class and Zuku remaining. But still, do not underestimate them. They are just two-man army on their own. They're going to try and smoke it up. They definitely want to overtake this compound of UDR killers. But they know that because they got the high ground, they got to try and commit with that utility early on, which might come and bite them back where I think later on, but it's definitely a position where you have to, otherwise that might be sleepy night-night.
Well, if I was Elevate, I think somebody look to disengage. They don't have the high ground. You see UDR killers have the high ground. That's very risky stuff from Elevate. I don't think it's going to work out for them, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, they're throwing out the smoke, but in amongst the smoke, the shots get fired through. Ulysses is looking for them, as a K-Lass is going to get caught out down to very low health. He gets knocked down, leaving Zuko left standing.
They're going to try and go for the flush. Zuko trying to get back to that building, but he doesn't have enough time. The smokes did wear out, and now he's only got a tree to call home. But now, because Mark's got a nice angle, Sandra got 1-2. They split up. A tree is not big enough, especially on Sanhok, where those palm trees are super thin, and they're going to be taken out. Elevate in 13th position. Not a team I would see getting taken out in the lower 50%, but anyways, a lot of fight coming out around the board. MVP Gaming, they shifted because it was so much easier rotating away from that tri-section of the river. They made a nice compound there, very home. But Accelerate, they're going to go for breach, potentially. But Sakura going very split towards the coastal line and trying to play as passive as possible, trying to keep its team alive, as they only have 2 members remaining.
Could get caught out though. Necron looking for Reki. Both of these teams are inside the blue zone. It is only phase 3 blue zone, so it's not the heaviest amount of damage, but it's still something to think about as Sakura gets one knockdown, dances around the rock, looking for a second, changes loadout, doesn't quite work out, it's too much, and he gets knocked down and confirmed.
Yeah, they're going to be losing 1. They still have 1 member of Accelerate on the back, so hopefully he can try and snake his way through. It is Sanhok, so he's about to have some snakes a little bit later on down the line. MVP still, they're going to move. Militia is pretty low, so is Danny. Hopefully he got enough meds to come on through, but hey, Gaming, gonna nade himself. Interesting. Okay, Jaja naded up MZ. Seem like they don't have a really friendly relationship.
Obviously, these things can happen. Hey, Gaming are well inside the circle. But they're going to look to try and be aware of what's going on around them. They have their kind of high ground to the coastline of that main land, but the circle shit, still a bit of the river and play. UDR killers who stayed on that northwest island are going to have to commit to it, but they're going to have to try and push a few teams out around them. You still have the last man standing from Team Legends up alive for his side. 12 teams left, 40 players up, the real deal, holding on as a 3-man team.
Now MVP, they're slowly going to be making it over to AK-47. There are a lot of teams on the other side of this river, so unfortunately, you might have to just run into AK-47, but it seems like then, why even try and leave the compound away? It's not really rewarding, it's not in the circle, you're going to have to go up north, and you might want to go for that rotation early, as you don't want to get pressured by the blue zone, especially by phase 4. MVP, that's opening up a nice entry point for them. Hopefully they'll be able to make it through without getting too pressured. But if they see AK-47, now they're on a high ground position and they can fight back so well. Don't give your position away. MVP, if I were you, just don't give your position right now. You're not in a position to take the fight.
No, but it's still going to be tough because he's out in the open. They're going to cross the coastline. AK-47, they have the wall, they have compound, they have high ground. That's going to be the first knockdown by Dexter.
Yeah, they get one. They flush it out almost instantaneously. Gonna go in the water. As I said, there are a lot of teams around there, but they're gonna go for a boat, which with so many teams around, that might get pretty tricky for them to do. Here it is. So many members get knocked. They drop them out straight into the water. And they even lose Militia, even Necron. That means the MVP, they're on their last member in the water Imperium. And now you said it, that was gonna be really hard. They didn't even give their position away, but it's just a AK-47. They were being very scarce, very careful, and just looking at every direction, and they just happened to scout them out.
Yeah, so it was good play. You got ahead, MVP. They were in a good position. But that's going to be the end of one player of Red Reserve. Now Sanhok with the grenade is going to try and catch out the real deal.
Hopefully, but yeah, Red Reserve, Miramar and Kedar down. There's our two members that you want to. I keep saying these are the members you don't want to lose, but really you don't want to lose any members of Red Reserve because they're all so good. So they'll try and get through the net set up by the real deal for the time being. Hopefully they don't get scattered out. He gets them from the back, flush it out. That might be a really rewarding one. There he goes, go for Daddy. But he can't hit the spray. He's got that small tree to call back as some kind of defense. As a real deal, they are not interested in healing that one up after it is phase 4, about to turn into phase 5. So phase 5, phase 6, that is when, unfortunately, pulling off a heal in the blue is very hard to achieve. But on this top side of the mountain, it's going to be Magic and Goskilla. Nice position. I like the little bit of a spread coming out from Goskilla, as Magic are trying to use their position to their advantage, really, with that high ground. But the nades are flying from Goskilla, but unfortunately, to not too much amount of success.
Yeah, just trying to kind of do what they can to push each other back, give a little bit of space. Of course, both of these teams have full squads. You gotta say the advantage is in Magic because they have a little bit of dip. Even though as Goskilla go off the hill, they do have a bit of high ground, but you gotta make sure that Magic don't let Goskilla go too close.
They can't do it. Oh, that's a great nade from Naya. Now this is the time to go for the engage. Savage X also took so much damage from that nade. But Elod, no, is a nice position. Can he get double? Oh, no, he's so low. He doesn't quite get him. And he does make it out pretty nicely. Sade will have to heal up. Skirp. Gonna try and get a little bit of assistance. Gonna go indeed for a res on Master. But now Elod was nobody there to heal him back up. Whitey also got knocked away, trying to crawl back to safety. The point of Albi and Savage X, but he seemed like he will be able to do so. As Magic, they just have to heal up from their wounds. But now in the open area, there's quite a few teams that could try and gatekeep it, especially like Team Legend. There's only Predator, so maybe doesn't want to give his position away. But UDR Killers might want to get somewhat involved, and not only them, but there's another team down south that are trying to deny it. That is actually Hate Gaming.
So as you get down to the phase 6, going to be popping off soon enough. Players are dying to the play zone, but as Magic on top of the hill, trying to push forward. They are a little bit exposed, but they're doing everything they can to keep in this game, fighting up against the Blue Zone. Savage X fighting his way through, throwing his shots off as UDR Killers do lose Sandro, but is it too much for Magic?
Goskilla taking it so dominantly. And Magic down on only Sade. They are taking this one to V4. Flush out the kills. They're going to be very valuable. That's 3 points for yourself. Let's freaking go. Goskilla up to... Whoa, 10 kills. I just realized. You kidding me? Okay, Goskilla, keep on going. Keep on shredding. Sade, unfortunately, phase 6 is going to be taking quite a bit of chunky damage. And he already used so much packs earlier that he might have a hard time healing back up against it. UDR Killers with that rock really denying the rotation in from Team Legend Predator, but Hate Gaming, they are looking so good on their positioning. Was the only compound remaining in the game. All the other teams are going to fight each other before rotating in.
Exactly, and that's going to be the end of Magic. Did everything they could, but it's just too much. As now we're down to the final 6 teams, 12 players off. Team Legend, last man standing, tries to get one knockdown, tries to get second, just about. Goskilla survive. He shouldn't have gotten that close to dying.
Spicy spaghetti, let's go. Okay, well, they're coming up with even more points. We'll see how they're going to be going. UDR Killers trying to snake their way through, but so many teams around them. 2 teams actually in the water. So we'll see how that goes. AK-47 and the last member of... no, actually 2 members of OVN Esports still in play. Said they are a pretty good team in this Sanhok map and in top 4, so they are not here to disappoint today. There it is. The compound is going to be slowly trying to get naded up by UDR Killers. As you see, AK-47 losing 1 and losing also Burian, but they're not flushed away just yet. We're still 1 member up in the game, and that's going to be Rana.
Oh my god, from the tree! That's going to be the end of UDR Killers.
Yeah, very unfortunate to see them go out, but wait a second! Is that a back-to-back win, Imperium? I believe it is! And indeed, it's going to be a back-to-back win from none other than Hate Gaming. Jaja, Neymar, MZ, and Navi getting himself the first back-to-back chicken dinner in European PMCO for this spring split. That's a big achievement, with also 8 kills to show up for it. They had 25 points on that first game, and they're once again hitting the average, and they might just beat the record of next that they did yesterday.
What a performance. What an absolute performance. OVN Esports getting in second place. You had called OVN as a team who would get a good result in Sanhok, and you know what? Yeah, they did. It was only 4 kills, but second place is a good result for them. And AK-47, they played passive, they played safe, but with 3 kills in third place, it's a very good result for them, along with UDR Killers. And those are the 2 teams that landed in the very north, and they did disengage from each other relatively quickly. I thought they wouldn't, but they did, and it paid off for both teams.
I'm just... First back-to-back. Let's go. Like, also, Hate Gaming, I think also the moral boost you get from taking a win, and it gives you just a little bit more confidence in a sense, in the sense that you got that little bit of a cushion after getting a really good game. They got 25 points on game number 1. If you like, you can maybe go a little bit more out there, a little bit more aggressive, and they definitely did so. Like, once again, they didn't get like as many kills as you saw. Like, which team was it that got like over 10 so quick? It was Skiller that just absolutely shredded it at some point. And Hate Gaming, they just once again just show up. And I knew that MZ was definitely like really hyped with this team. They're really honored to be able to show up in PMCO for the European region and represent their squad. But they are showing up like so dominantly. I'm really proud of them. I really am. And also MZ's a French boy, so let's go Baguettes.
Fair enough. I'll give you that one. Red Reserve only finishing in 8th place with 3 kills. Wasn't the most positive result for them. I'd put them kind of high on getting a strong result in Sanhok. I think part of that was the fact that they had gone for a 2-2 split. I thought it might work out, but by the time they really found a position, I think too many teams were around them and it just went against them in the end. But either way, you know, as I said, Sanhok can be anybody's game. Yeah, happened to be a second game in a row for Hate in these first 2 games, but it can go anybody's way.
They can try and reverse the steam as much as possible, but there you have it. That was our Sanhok game of the day, as we will be now moving towards our 3rd game, which is actually going to be on good old Miramar. Miramar yesterday, won by Terra Esports, was one of the most insane games on Miramar I had the chance of casting, and I gotta say, I hope that this game on Miramar is also going to show up and have a really good amount of gameplay to offer us on the broadcast. So if you guys enjoyed those 2 first games on Erangel and Sanhok, myself and Imperium definitely enjoyed it. We'll take a very, very short break before we go back onto the sweaty and deserting map of Miramar. Stay tuned, we'll be back very soon. And we are back. Thanks so much for waiting, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube and Twitch. My name is Maxman. Once again, was Imperium for our third game. And we're going to be dropping on good old fancy Miramar after, though, the most insane back-to-back chicken dinner secured by none other than Hate Gaming with an absolute dominant gameplay style. Imperium, now it's going to be Miramar. Do you think we can have a back-to-back win?
Back-to-back. But
that's a lot of backs.
I don't know. It definitely could happen, but I do want to turn your attention to the overall standings because, you know, anybody would think that Hate Gaming are actually in either Group A or Group B, because right now they're lying in 4th place overall in the standings after only 2 games, 2 chicken dinners, 53 points. Like, you talked about a team pulling off a next. I think they're giving it a pretty damn good run.
I mean, yeah, like, next, their lowest position was 4th position. Right now, after 2 games, Hate Gaming, their lowest position is 1st. So, you know what? Hate Gaming, we'll see so far. They are hitting the average the next had so far in their first 3 games. So, maybe 100 bomb is coming out today. I asked for it. Maybe my prayers will be exhausted. Anyways, Miramar Imperium. I have a lot of teams that have a really good amount of skill on this map. I talked to MZ between last game on Sanhok and now this game on Miramar, and they said that Sanhok is going to be very hard. He can't confirm that they get a chicken din on this map because it's not the map where they're the most secure and the most confident, but hopefully they'll be getting a good performance. But is there maybe one team to you, Imperium, that maybe stands out, or even maybe a group of teams?
I would say go Skilla. And I don't want to say Hate Gaming because, hey, look, they've already won two chicken dinners, but I also say Hate Gaming and even Elevate as well. Elevate is a team I've seen perform pretty damn well in Miramar. I do want to say, though, and I don't always like to address this, but apologies about my sound delay in Game 2. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it came from because it seemed to be good in Game 1. Made a couple of changes during the break. Hopefully, it'll be crisp and clear for your ears in this next game.
Don't lie to us, Imperium. We know you're a robot now. You can't hide it anymore. But yeah, it should be fine, hopefully. An Irish robot. Damn, I didn't know. But anyways, good old fancy Miramar. Great map, very big, a lot of sniper bolt action. I'm waiting for Novaz to come into play. Novaz hasn't done too much on the side of OVN. And Novaz has been throughout the scrims, the man that just gets headshot after headshot, bolt action shot after bolt action shot. And Miramar is the map where DMRs and snipers are definitely put on the front of the lead. So I'm really expecting to see Novaz come into his own and hopefully get some really good impact.
But then again, at the end of the day, like, you can't forget how good a clean M4 spray from 200-300 meters away can be for any of these players, for any of these teams, to provide a nice strong connection. But let's see where this circle is gonna go. What kind, not circle, but this plane for now. Where is it gonna be? Nice season 12 battle pass skin. You know, of course, where this plane trajectory is definitely depending a little bit on where these teams are able to drop. You can see it's somewhat quite central, going from the north to the south, Max. So the likes of, you know, San Martin, Hacienda, even Ahumada and El Azahar are definitely very accessible. I am curious as to see how many teams are going to drop in Las Leones. I mentioned it yesterday. You know, we saw in the Pro EU scrims, we did happen to see 2 to 3 teams that would land in Las Leones. Will we see something similar coming out today?
I mean, sometimes we even had like 4 or 5 teams dropping in Los Leones. Really a big hot drop for most of these squads. Team Legends, they really like most of the time going for Chumacera, and hopefully it won't get contested for them. But Team Legend, where are they currently? Elevate, of course, they're going to go for the coastal line, play very passive early, going to go straight over to the area of Impala and just play this one as sneakily as possible. And like, dying out early can happen, but if you die out early in Miramar, like that's a big F.
It is, because, you know, compared to Sanhok, where you can do really well as a one-man army, you can snake your way through. Miramar is definitely a map where the more players you have up, the better it is for your late game. But look at this phase 1 circle. It's a little bit to the northwest, but it is quite central. And what's really interesting is that the majority of the teams that are landed are already inside the circle.
Yeah, so this is definitely not a hardship, and all of the areas on the east and down south, there's so many open entry points, we should be a-okay. Though, we are going to be now panning over my favorite compound, and that's going to be good old fancy Picardo. The reason why? Loot is absolutely insane, really nice areas to defend, also because you've got so many cross-section, and also the car spawns are most of the time pretty damn good. But Ked, you know what, he's looking for blood early on, as he's going to try and take down a few members of Team Push. Magic suffering a little bit of take damage, but hopefully they'll be able to find himself some weapons to fight back.
Don't get too narrow-minded, Ked. Yeah, of course, take a couple of shots, but don't forget the fact that you do have a couple of members of Team Push all around the vicinity of the outskirts of Picado, and you are on a roof on your own, so don't get too narrow-minded. Never mind the fact that you still have to try and loot yourself up, get a helmet, you do have a level 1 vest, but get something stronger and even a scope before you can really engage on the members of Team Push.
Yuri Arqueles also, they're not too far away, and they've got a nice high ground position in Pyramid. Unfortunately, the loot is pretty bad in that kind of area, so maybe not the kind of weapons they're looking for to apply pressure on Team Push. But no, they're just going to try and smoke it up, try and find himself some way out. After they do have a 3-1 split, they already have one member already in the main area of the compound of Picado. I talked about car spawns, right? If they can, because on the outskirts of Picado, which are not a great position to defend with, find a car that's spawned in your vicinity and get the hell out of here, because it's especially Red Reserve. They don't know it yet, but Red Reserve are pretty good on defending this compound. We saw in the scrims also. So if they can, get away.
And that's exactly what UDR killers have done. They actually got in a vehicle in the distance and they're looking to disengage. So they're doing exactly what you just suggested. But now, UDR Team Push, should I say, throwing out the smokes early on. Like, that shows how much they are kind of scared of Red Reserve. They're playing it safe. But now Sonic going to throw out a Molotov. Will that connect onto Vama 69? That falls a little bit short.
Try to go for a nice globe shot. Doesn't work out. Ked, unfortunately, now the tables have been turned. As Vama's got a nice high ground position on top of Ked, so he's got to be very cautious. And he can't really give too much information as he has to stay prone as he gets denied information by Vama 69. Gonna go a little bit higher, once again trying to get the spray, but oh my god, Ked! Is that 8k spray gonna get the first knockdown of this fight, and this is really gonna give that confidence boost that Red Reserve needed, and they're gonna go straight up for the flush. No reses for you, my friend.
I told you, you may mention DMRs and snipers, but that AR from a distance, you get that clean spray, good stuff. As Sonic is going to look to try and confirm another kill, not going too aggressive, but now as he pushes forward, his teammates behind him, the revive isn't going to come out, confirms the kill, reloads, that's going to be another kill, most likely going to go out, but Bobby actually does connect onto Sonic.
What is happening? How the hell did that work out? Okay, well, Bobby, I guess GG. Gonna go, oh, wait, oh my god, that bounce. Damn, he's a pro squash player. Anyways, now Team Push going to go for the flush, confirm any point they can. They are suffering pretty much early game. As now, Red Reserve still looking strong. They just go back, heal up from their wounds if they can, but they're still looking to try and take this entire team squad wipeout. They want to clean up Picado.
It is 3 against 2, but Bobby has gone very close to Jip. Agan has joined for Red Reserve. I believe Muriel's internet actually, or power went down, unfortunately, so isn't able to join in for the last 2 games. But now Ked's going to look to throw Kobe. Doesn't quite connect. Bobby goes across the way. Ked actually sees that, jumps up to the roof. Nice response from Red Reserve. They kind of have them surrounded, but it's definitely not over just yet for Team Push.
They are getting cornered in Purim. They're trying to push them as far back as they possibly can. If they play this on well and engage at the exact same time, this should be an easy wipeout for them. Now they are going to be in this shack. The nade will be chucked. They were there a few seconds ago. Unfortunately, won't have too much of an impact, but knowing how the smokes are coming out from Team Push, I think Jip could have maybe tried to guess that they were in that building. But Red Reserve still, they've been very respectful. It's not because they got man advantage that they're going to go too aggressive. I got to say, Ked, he's holding himself really well. He loves to go fully, like, guns blazing, but he's just been going really relaxed.
You kind of have to take your time at this point of an engagement. You want to reposition yourself a little bit, not to the point where you don't know where your opponents are, but to the point where they don't know where you are. And now Team Push, they're constantly moving away. They're not being too scared, but look at that position from Jip inside the high building. Has an idea of where Team Push are, but because of those smokes, nothing has been spotted out just yet.
Also to mention real quick, on the East, Kapahala, oh, sorry, no, we're going to have also AK-47, sorry, and also Elevate. They hot dropped, actually, in Impala, and they actually lost a few members. So hopefully when I go too bad, we know to Elevate, they don't like to fight early, and AK-47. In the scrims, that never happened. AK-47 going up against Elevate. So not really something you can get prepared for, so hopefully won't have too much of an impact on these two squads. Now, with the circle now slowly closing up, it's still phase one. Not going to be too harsh, and we talked about this earlier, right, Imperium, that the circle is really easy on this team. So many entry points, especially on the east and down south. Really shouldn't be losing any squads early game. There's no reason to.
And like I said, most of the teams that had dropped were already kind of in the circle, so they don't have to rotate super heavily. It is just mainly on kind of that east side and maybe the far west side where teams will look to either get into circle or get into a more central position. But now you talked about it, elevating AK-47. AK-47 are kind of disengaging. It's like they don't really have anywhere to go or any way to get to where they do eventually want to go. Just doing their best to run away.
It was Buren that got flushed away. Rana should bleed out to his death. And that will be an extra 2 points for them. They're going to be in the blue. It's phase one. It's fine. You can afford it. And also, Impala has some really good car spawns. So hopefully they'll have an easy shift in phase one. I'm not really being too scared for Elevate. And also, they like to rotate. They're really good on their rotations. So we should be A-okay. Going to go for spray. That's a really big distance, especially with no scope. But finally, back over to the fight of Picardo. Is the fight going to end up or still not? I don't think so.
Hey, look, it's centered the circle. They don't really need to move up. The only thing I fear is that the closer that the circle gets to closing in, the closer teams around them come to where these two teams are, which third partying could be involved. But either way, look at the cluster teams that are in the center, down below from Hacienda and San Martin. Where is phase two gonna pop up? You, of course, have Accelerate, and we are Vietnamese up in the northeast, but it does shift up north and right into the palm of the hands of OVN Esports.
You know exactly what I'm going to say. Crater Fields, eastern high ground position, take it now, and you should be looking good. The circles are weirdly enough so similar, except for the Sanhok game, but like, Erangel game number one and now this Miramar game, they're so similar to yesterday. I don't know what's happening. I mean, it's given them even chances to like have some similar gameplay style and really see, like, the VOD reviews are definitely going to be really important on these games because it's so similar. But now it's going to be MVP Gaming. Magic, oh, they get shut down by Sade, getting that headshot, instantaneously putting Militia down. There was a big winning factor for them on that first game of Erangel, get himself extra positioning in that game. Now MVP going to go for the res. They can't flush it.
They don't really want to go too aggressively. They're happy with where they are right now in this little dip, max, which means that they don't want to be too aggressive. One knockdown isn't enough to confirm a kill. However, Elevate, they're a little bit split. I don't really know what's going on. They should look to try and revive Pocus. Magic, skirt in the vehicle, looking to drive away. Danny spots him out, doesn't quite connect too many of those shots. You now look to back away. Going across the harsh terrain in the vehicle is always tough on Miramar, but Skirp does seem to know where he is going.
He definitely knows. I like that the Magic try to have a flank if they wanted to play aggressive, just keeping their their opportunities and doors open. After they knew they wanted to play passive, it was not a great position. As you said, they didn't really want to force it because it wasn't an open terrain on a plateau. Don't have the position, and when you're pushing on a flat terrain, the one that is pushing is almost instantaneously at a disadvantage. So I like the fact that they play that one close, like just disengage as soon as they possibly could. And no, that's how you play it. You want to play very passive on the first 3 to 4 phases of Miramar if possible, and then you slowly trying to get involved in more and more fights to fight for compounds, because compounds are pretty scarce on this good old fancy desert map that is Miramar.
Exactly. So it's all about kind of getting the balance of high ground and compound in your favor. Now, if you are playing that compound, you don't need to spread yourself out too heavily. But if you are in that high ground position out in the open, you want to spread yourselves out to try and get as much vision as possible, but not too much to the point where if you get one player knocked down, you're going to be punished. But Magic, they got away from one team already. Now they're going right into the path of the real deal, who are just a little bit ahead. The high ground we saw in the Pro EU PUBG Mobile scrims, a very similar ending to this, where we saw at the time was Yakuza that got the win, I believe, but we could see something very similar in today's Miramar game, Max.
Depends on how the circle shifts. That's going to be, of course, a big factor in this one. Real deal, they got a nice high ground position, they got some rocks to use. So if you have a high ground position like this, and with one of those like big rocks to protect you, actually just got to focus on one area of the land, so it actually helps you out so much. Also, it kind of helps out Magic on that position in a similar scenario. The Phase 2 is about to close up. Where shall Phase 3 take us? I'm really intrigued, but... Ooh, Hate Gaming, that's going to be Jarge again. Blown its head off by Bujo. Not sure if they can go for the flash. They indeed can't, but Circle, all down south, actually Crater Fields is out of the question, Imperium.
Oh my god, so Crater Fields are out of the question, and just above Picado, between Power Grid and San Martin, that's going to be a hot property for easy access to likes of Red Reserve, MVP, even AK-47, although Dexter is on his own, and Hate, I think, could easily rotate around Power Grid to get onto the high ground. But the teams up north, they're going to have to shift down south. It is going to be tough. You do have a cluster of teams, OVM being somewhat one of them. They might want to reposition a bit, along with the likes of Magic.
I think the Hate Gaming could go for the plateau we're talking about after, like, it seems like such a good position to hold at this stage that it might get a little bit overcrowded. So hopefully they don't get in too much of an early rotation, because if they do, and some other teams are like, oh, we're going to do the exact same thing, it could get tricky, and it would, they would lose their chance of getting a back-to-back chicken dinner, which I would once again really love to see. But yeah. The real deal, they got their high ground position, they don't really have to give it away. UDR Killers on the low ground, they got a compound, they lost Sandra earlier. But, ooh, Team Legend, really struggling, I got the impression, in the early game stages of every game we've seen so far. They did have an opportunity on Erangel, but even then they lost members early, so they're having a little bit of a hard time, not their best day.
Yeah, like even in Erangel, they went relatively unnoticed, they're just kind of, they've yet to really find their feet, in my eyes, in these games. Erangel wasn't a bad result for them, but it wasn't really impactful like we've seen them in previous scrims in the past. And then Sanhok, they kind of got lost in the shuffle. And here right now, nearly finding Azzy, but backing off for now. Let's see if they can really pick it up in Miramar and be happy with the result.
He should not push it. He's got still two members that are in a really bad spot. If he gives his position away, he's going to be solo. They have the high ground. He did not take the shot, which I think is great. He's just giving information to his team, saying now that they're rotated away, the real deal not here anymore, you can now move on forward. Unfortunately, they're in a really bad spot. I don't think they even have cars over there. If they don't, they might die to the hands of UDR Killers. Now, we'll be seeing as the real deal moved up a little bit higher on a nice high ground plateau and just going to try and strain it down on UDR Killers.
Here's the thing. The real deal could help Team Legend by third-partying UDR Killers. So it's just a matter of Team Legend just kind of biding their time a little bit. The fact that you do have one member of Joker up on the high ground, kind of giving vision and communication to the rest of the team, is really important for Team Legend joining back as a full team.
And unfortunately, they're going to be in the blue in just a matter of seconds, Imperium, so not looking too good for those two members. We'll see how it works out for them. MVP, really central position. I think MVP are in a good spot right now, but because they're surrounded by roads, it could go really badly. But they're still in a circle. Circle shift going to be pretty central. A little bit to the east on the west. And the real deal, boom, snap of a finger, instant reaction. And they're going to move on straight in circle on a nice high ground position with a little bit of an overscope on that road.
But look at Red Reserve and look at Team Push. I called that position. Yes, it's not in circle, but they made their way up from Picado. They can just go a little bit downhill, possibly into Power Grid, and get just on the edge of the circle. Because at this point, because they took too long to engage, and because of those circle shifts up north, they are finding themselves more on the edge of the circle. Teams are already going to have the hot spaces that they need to go. So it's going to be hard for those two teams as UDR Killers Mark takes down two members of a Team Legend.
Very unfortunate. They try to go into the buggy one by one, and then it'll work out. That's going to be 2 easy points for UDR Killers. That's going to leave Joker alone. But at least they're still having that one scout a little bit earlier. It still gives them an opportunity for a better positioning and maybe stealing a few kills also along the way. But UDRs now, they are also in a bad spot. They might have to just give up. They're going to get the kill anyways. He's going to die to the blue in a few. They're just going to move now because the circle is closing up. And Miramar, at this stage of the game, is on phase 4. if you don't have a good position, you're going to have such a hard time rotating in.
And here's the thing. This is what Miramar can do to these teams. We're 70 minutes into the game, Max, and we still have 15 teams up, 47 players. That's what Miramar does. It creates a kind of passive, you know, free kind of staying safe play style. And then you're going to have this sudden rush of teams coming together as the circle closes in.
As guys, if you do not know, we did not lose any teams. We normally have 16, but one team did not show up for this game. So, as indeed, 100% of the team still in play. We lost a lot of players, actually, during these early game fights, as Frost gets a nice nade on Accelerate Reki. And Accelerate, they are suffering tremendously, as CIA trying to get involved in that fight. A third-man party might be shown at the top of his head. ER Killer's on this mountainside. Luckily enough, no teams have a direct line of sight on them at this point in time because of the smokes, but it could change pretty soon.
So the real deal have a great position right now. Yeah, they're 2-2 split with players outside the circle, but I really like how they've been responding to the circle shifts, how they've been responding to the teams around them, not being too aggressive, but popping shots off when they need to. They're looking pretty good in this Miramar game as OVN and Accelerate going at each other just on the north side of this circle. You also have the fact that there's two teams close by to the max.
Yeah, but after I don't think they maybe want to fully commit because they got to cross the road, so they're just going to try and snipe the members that will try and run away from it, because you're pretty sure that Phase 5 should not go too much in their advantage unless they are extremely lucky. Another nade from Novaz. Will that one do its bidding? That's a big no once again. Here it is. I'm really looking out to how these teams are going to play this one off. UDR Killers have got a great angle. MVP Gaming also. I don't think that any of these 2-3 teams, actually, with We Are Vietnamese still up there, are going to make it out alive, because those roads are just an absolute threat, especially on Miramar.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tough for Vietnamese. And all the while, the longer Accelerate wait to kind of close this fight out, the harder they do make it for themselves should the circle shift against them, because all the teams around them are going to have an easier entrance. And look at this circle shift. It goes down the southwest, favoring, once again, Max, Hate Gaming, as well as also Ghost Skiller, who are kind of down the southwest of them, and of course, Magic.
You lucky devils. But Magic, they are also got a nice position. They rotated instantly, got a nice high ground position. No more compounds in play. That means that we're going to be straight up in the open, and it's also going downhill Imperium. That means that all the teams are on the north across this road could actually deny so many teams position, but that means that their own position is going to be potentially contested because they're not going to have the circle shift of phase 6, in their advantage. Pretty sure, because you've got such a slim chance of that happening. So they're boosting on each other, but all the teams that are going to be now in the south and just waited out the longest possible might have a better shot at positioning properly on phase 6. Here it is. Accelerate, they're going to be losing Sakoru. And OVN looking good. A nade will be chucked on over from Kapahala, but misses it out.
It was actually a third party from MVP that got the kill onto Sakura, but Accelerate do push forward. Novaz is the last man standing. Kapahala and X0 just behind the corner they go. Novaz goes first person, gets a lot of damage. Now he's going to have to go inside that building, and now he goes for one knockdown inside the blue zone. He's allowing him to heal up, but the third party is going to come out, and We Are Vietnamese down the hill. Novaz thrown him down. He's a beast. OVN Esports popping off.
Hey, you know what? He died, but he got almost every single kill in that fight. Novaz, absolute legend. I praised him for his long-distance DMR/sniper action, but man, in melee range, he's also pretty damn impressive. So great job from him. CIA finally going for their move, trying to get onto the edge of the circle. They got a road right in front of them. They have to play on the edge of this mountain, but MVP Gaming is going to be mixing up, and MVP down on their last member, which is going to be Militia. He's going to try and avenge them, but look at that. That's going to be the real deal. Hack shot from the top side, doing some really good amount of work.
This is what I was talking about. Boom goes the dynamite. We lose 3 teams at the drop of a hat. 31 players left standing. CIA going for a push, working out very effectively. UDR Killers on the edge of the circle. The real deal are holding them off. Nano throws out a grenade. Just about keeps Hackshot alive, but Nano is flanking around very nicely. Gets the knockdown.
And he's going to even get it confirmed. Great job, UDR Killers. Get himself 1 point. That's 3 total. They still got 99 mark alive. Can Ulysses get res back up? That means you have to go downhill. So I don't think that's too rewarding, especially knowing that CIA has such a great position. Also, I love that 2-2 split. It's kind of the equivalent of what Red Reserve did early on Sanhok across the river. And it's so valuable, right? Because you're trying to split as much as possible and you're trying to make up for where the circle could shift. Of course, it's going to be shifting down south because you had so much land math down there that I'm not really surprised. But now that's going to make their rotation of their 2 members even easier across the road.
It's gonna be so hard for UDR Killers. Daddy from the real deal. Popping all shots in between the smoke. Mark staying very safe for now. Time is ticking though. 30 seconds until the blue zone starts closing in. No vehicles in sight. Just an open road. How many smokes have they got? How much of a path can they create for themselves? Agon gets knocked down from Red Reserve. The real deal rotating with those vehicles, pushing forward. Magic are in the center. Gangster gets knocked down from CIA. Mark doing exactly everything that he can to try and keep himself alive.
But Joker trying to steal some kills away. I mean, he's trying to be really proactive. He knows that he's potentially going to die because he has to cross this road. I don't think he has any more utility because of his last encounter. So he's trying his best to get as many points as he can before he goes out himself. Red Reserve, though, in a pretty bad spot. They're in a dip. Nades against the team in a dip are so easy. There you go. Prime example. Red Reserve are going to be losing 2. Great push from Hate Gaming as they're looking to get even more kills than last game. And they are definitely looking for a 3rd chicken dinner in a row. But they're so low. Ked is left alone, Imperium. And despite him being so good, I don't think this is going to work out. And he's gone.
Oh my god, but from above, hey, get the push. You know what? If you're gonna go down to a team, at least let it be the team that have gotten 2 chicken dinners so far. Hate Gaming, they have the momentum, they have the drive, they have the push. Red Reserve go out. We're down to 6 teams, 15 players. Magic also looking strong in the center of the circle, Max.
It's just a few seconds ago when we still had 11, but now Magic, they are surrounded by foes, and it goes to the same point where Reserve were earlier. They're in a dip. Nate, just roll down to your feet and you get absolutely battered. Hate Gaming, though, taking it a lot slower. Circle did shift. Phase 6 are closing up on these teams, not giving them a lot of time. Still have, though, real deal moving across. They made it through. Hopefully they can make it work out. But now we only got 5 teams in Imperium. They're going straight on top of Hate Gaming. But no, the back-to-back chicken dinner, the dream, will not be happening. And that's turned really quickly to a nightmare.
Honestly, that was all down to Skirp. Skirp got 2 knockdowns. He was able to push forward. Don't laugh, Max. He deserves it. They still got a full squad. 3 teams left. Go Skilla, Magic, and UDR Killers. Look at what UDR Killers have done. Mark has kept his team alive and put them into the top 3. Great run by them. Could go Skilla. Finally close out a chicken dinner. They've gotten close so far, but only time will tell. Into the 25-minute mark. Where will this phase shift? Will it go in the favor? It goes right into the favor of Magic.
I mean, Magic, you couldn't ask for better circle shift. I'm really surprised that Mark was allowed to cross that road. I think it's mainly because all the teams were just so focalized on each other. You had 11 teams like on the phase, at the start of phase 5. And now it just allowed him, because of all that mayhem coming on through, to get a better position. Now, I was about to say, what you want to do if you are Magic is to split up as much as possible, because you know you've got the man advantage. So that is what they are doing. They're spreading up their wins, sending 3 man on the offensive and also having 1 member on the backside to just give them that kind of information and also potentially some bolt DMR action, which I think is great. So Magic definitely trying to put everything in their side to try and take this chicken dinner.
Exactly, like even if they... Even if they think there's 2 teams left, as in them and 1 other team, they still have that man advantage. Never mind the fact that it's 4v2v1 is even greater for them. But Mark from UDR Killers, he sees Skirp in the 3rd-person perspective, but he has to prone down because Naya from above takes his shots off. Bandage being thrown out. How many has he got left? All the while, Magic just closing out, just trying to push these teams back from the edge of the circle. Let's go, Skilla. Have to try and find an entry point. Mia takes out Mark. Now we're down to 2 teams. 4 against 2.
4 versus 1 now, Imperium. They're going to go for Savage X, and no way, Jose! Chicken dinner going to be for the one and only Team Magic, with still 4 members up on their feet. That is also 12 kills, Imperium, and the chicken dinner. I know that was very quick math. I impress myself too sometimes. But Magic showing up to the party. They had a central position. I'm not going to lie. I did not think they would make it out alive because they had like, what, 6 teams surrounding them? Yeah. And they dealt with the pressure perfectly. That also is a really good proof of their good synergy communication. They gave information all the time, knew where teams were located and where they had an angle on them. And they just dealt with that like an absolute bunch of pros. I mean, pro level gameplay right there. And they could definitely show up to a LAN. But Magic, really big surprise. Once again, I'm a little bit sad that we don't have a back-to-back chicken dinner from, of course, Hate Gaming, but still they got a nice attempt in this game also. Yeah, Magic, great one.
Yeah, and then also, like, you gotta give a shout out to UDR Killers getting 6 kills, 3rd place. Really strong result for them. Ghost Skiller yet to find that chicken dinner, but 2nd place with 1 kill. Hate, look, it wasn't a chicken dinner, but it was definitely nothing to be sniffed at. 5th place with 4 kills. You can't really be too disappointed by that. And CIA came out of the shadows getting 6th place and 3 kills.
They really struggled when they were on the lip of that hill. Of course, at that point in time when you are going uphill and you have a few teams surrounding you, you're going to have a really hard time. The 2-2 split, though, I did mention that the 2-2 split across the road was great, and it did facilitate their rotation down south into a better position for the circle shift. But after, it was just a little bit too much. They were in like also a similar situation as of where Magic were located, but instead of having like other teams behind them, they had the blue zone, so they were kind of cornered and they did die out. But still, that was their best performance yet in their game, so I'm really happy to see them try and come up and show up to the party. But anyways, for our top 3 was going to be Magic with 12 kills and a chicken dinner. Ghost Skiller, 2nd. They played this one so passive compared to what we saw them do on Sanhok right after. We know that Sanhok is kind of a driver for aggressive gameplay, but they only get 1 kill, and that was the definition of how Miramar plays off, right? Play passive as much as you can, and when you have to, when you're cornered up, then go for the fight.
And I gotta say, definitely a disappointing game for the likes of Elevate and even MVP. Like, Elevate in 12th place, yeah, okay, they got 4 kills, but, I would expect much better from them. And Elevate in 13th place with only 1 kill, really yet to kick off their PMCO Group stage action.
I never think that for Elevate, Miramar was like their best map. They always like shined on mainly like, Sanhok, especially Erangel and Vikendi. I think they were doing really good on those maps, but, once again, it's fine. It's just 1 extra game. And yeah, that was our 3 first games of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it at home. And our next matchup is going to be on good old fancy Erangel. We're going to be closing the chapter on that one, of course. And it was won by Hate Gaming earlier. We'll see if they want to remain the kings of Erangel for this 4th and final game. Guys, stick around. We'll be back very shortly for our final game of the day. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We are ready to jump into our final game of the day for Group C versus Group D. My name is Maxman, and once again is Imperium, ready to kick this one off in style. And Imperium, we saw the standings are looking pretty hefty.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Of course, at the top of the table, hey, look, they're still next, but look at Hate and look at Magic. 3rd and 4th place, respectively. 64 points for Hate, 54 points for Magic. But what I do want to turn your attention to be honest, Maxman, is on the bottom half of the table. Because let's be honest, we're going to have the bottom 8 teams going out of the group stage. So when you look at it right now, I know there's only been 3 games for these teams, but Team Push in 29th on only 9 points, Accelerate on 30th with only 7 points, and look at Elevate, 22nd place on only 18 points. Did anybody really expect that coming into tonight's games?
I mean, we got definitely a lot of surprises in Imperium. We got a team just like next is going to be Hate Gaming, got like some upsets, of course, I'm really happy to see us go into these games and it's not as expected during the scrims. But hopefully some of these teams will be able to catch himself back up. But now we're slowly going to be transitioning in this game, Imperium. This is their last chance to shine on today's broadcast. And hopefully we'll have some nice little surprises along the way.
Well, yeah, it is going into good old Erangel. So it is the place where the team should know the most about the map. There, every team should know realistically where to rotate. I'm still disappointed with the way some teams are rotating, how late they are leaving it to go into the circle, even if it's just the edge of the circle. Like, we talk about how it's fine to be on, you know, the blue zone of phase 1, phase 2, but I still wouldn't recommend it unless there's a really extreme circle shift. So as I said, a little bit disappointed with some of the rotations that have come out from teams in the first 3 games. But this is the last game, like you said. Will we see something different? Will we see another game from either Hate, another win from either Hate Gaming or Magic?
Might be definitely on the lookout. I just talked to MZ a few minutes ago, and he said that they are definitely hoping to try and get themselves a 3rd win because let's not forget, they're only 18 points away from the record set up by Next. So I'm really hoping to see them get themselves a nice performance here and try and get that 100 bomb I've been just talking about for like, I think, ages now. But Elevate, they got one of the easiest playing path for them. Straight off the bat, they can drop. They're going to split up between the areas of Milter/Milter Power, so that's going to be really good in their favor. They don't have to long drop like they did on game number 1. But anyway, it's very southern. OVN Esports, they like to go in Severny. They are definitely not going to reach up there. So maybe going to have to try and go for another position. They got a lot of the, eastern coastline available for them, which seems like that is where they're aiming to go. And they'll try and maybe find themselves a rotation up to Severny to be super safe.
And it is, of course, in the same path as it is for Hate Gaming and Team Push. I'm a little bit surprised that Team Push have landed in military base and not decided to go to Nova, because they're a team that need all the points, so you don't want to play too risky, as we do lose Savage X of Ghost Skiller right off the bat in the engagement between themselves and OVN Esports.
Oh, there's a memo of Ghost Skiller right there, and he does not have anything to defend himself with. Can you see him? Does not see him. Oh, he's trying to go for the spray. No way.
No way.
It's right there. Okay. I was about to say, come on, you have to see that at some point, but they see that pixel that was a little bit off. And that will be 2 points right off the bat for OVN. Great start for them. I mean, they like aggressive starts. They're a freaking insane team on Sanhok. So early game aggression fights like this are definitely looking pretty good. Team Push, they are going to be located in this good old compound. Team Push and Hate Gaming, they've always been like a really big rivalry in this compound of, compound like this big military base. So I'm interested to see where this might lead.
Yeah, but like I said, Team Push, they need all the points that they can get. Why play... Or why land risky when you don't, not when you don't need to, but when you can't deserve, you can't deserve to go out early on again on the last game of the day. You're only on a certain amount of points. It's not going to be worth it for yourselves. But let's see how it will pay off. Nemad running across the road, hop a 7, kind of sees him. DP28 crouch down is a very dangerous gun.
Very dangerous at this range. Just get one headshot and you're almost dead. Emad just doesn't have the information. Is he going to give us a try, though? He is going to... Oh, that's actually 2 bullets connecting right off the bat. Pretty good spray, I do have to say, at the very start, but misses it at the end. Neymar now has got the information. Now, to say, you do see that Hate Gaming, normally, during these fights versus Team Push, they play very aggressive. But even though they have that cushion we talked about yesterday, right, just to make sure that even if you have a bad game, they are pretty much safe to be in the top 6, you want to try and play this on slow because they want to try and potentially set a record, right? And I think that's maybe what explains their very passive game plan. Also, they drop so split, which they normally never do on Military Island. So I'm a little bit surprised of how they played that drop phase, at least. As we pan on over to Pachinki, where it will be UDR Killers and Sia. They had actually their best game last time on Miramar.
Yeah, they really did. So let's see if they can repeat performance in Erangel, Pachinki, 2 teams. It is possible. But just on the point of Hate Gaming, I would agree with you. Not just because they, let's say, want to hit a ton, not just because they want to hit first, but the way they would look at it is they've got 2 chicken dinners. If they don't finish up on first with 2 chicken dinners, I'm pretty sure that they're going to kind of look back on that day and go, I'm a little bit disappointed because, you know, yeah, okay, chicken dinners are great, but if you don't get the results followed up to put yourself in that first place position, those chicken dinners are kind of pointless. So that would be the mindset from Hate Gaming. So I definitely would agree with you there on Hate Gaming playing a little bit passively. Once again, UDR Killers disengaging away from Pachinki. Such sensible play from UDR Killers. Really happy with how they're responding to, you know, being close to teams. We saw it in Sanhok. We're seeing it now. Very clever play.
I mean, yeah, passive game style just absolutely describes how they play. As now, Hate Gaming, as I said, they played and they dropped very split. They went uphill as they know that Team Push, they're going to have to shift because Phase 1 Circle is definitely nowhere near military base. So that means that now they can try and set up an early kind of camp situation and try and wait for Team Push to go uphill. They can try and use that. Done it multiple times in the past during the scrims. They're going to try and replicate that kind of positioning for themselves. After now Team Push, with all the scrims, they should be used to that by now. And
our Team Push under the belief that Hate Gaming have completely disengaged? I kind of think they are, although they are all going in that one vehicle. They kind of have to.
Oh my god, I'm running my teeth so hard. These don't get shut down. They're going to spread down, get quite a lot of bullets to connect, but Team Push will make it fine? Question mark? Yeah, they make it fine. They make it to another building. They're going to set up camp. But this is why you don't do 4-man car rotations unless you're sure that no teams are there. And because in the scrim, like once again, you always have Hate Gaming dropping in this location, you should not even give that one a try. Or if you want to do it, you just do the rotation, but through the south, not through the north.
And here, if I was a Hate Gaming at this point, now I would disengage because what you've done is you've pushed Team Push back right, no pun intended, but you've basically stopped them in their tracks. What that does is that gives Hate Gaming more space behind them to successfully rotate close to the circle. So let's see if they do go for that rotation away from Team Push all the while.
What a spray!
Nice spray from Agon onto Mark of UDR Killers. That rotation not quite working out for UDR Killers for now, as they do lose one member down to Red Reserve.
That is risky though. Like sending a member out there just to go for a flush. I mean, I understand why you would like to do it, but that's only one member now. And know that the rest of his team is potentially in their vicinity. So putting yourself in the field is actually putting yourself in a dangerous situation. And you see now, UDR Killers, they're not taking shots. Oh, they are.
It's Ked. It's Ked.
It is Ked. You know what? Actually, I take it back. It's Ked, okay.
It's Ked. If it's anybody else, I swear to God, I'd 100% agree with you. But because it's Ked, remember what I said about him being able to 1v4? You know, yeah, it's Ked. Ked does Ked things, you know? It's like his own little Ked PUBG Mobile version within PUBG Mobile, but that's how good he can be sometimes. All the while, UDR Killers lost a member. They will keep surviving as a 3-man team as the real deal are looking up from above.
UDR Killer's not too interested in this compound. I mean, I'm actually surprised. It's a pretty nice central compound. It's easy to defend because it's surrounded by a plateau, also by these roads and the fields on the southern side of Yasnai Polyana. So I'm surprised to give that position away. I don't know what the intention was there. I think it was a pretty nice area to defend. But anyways, they give it up. The real deal, they're going to try and shift up, try and hold this high ground position. They got some nice scouting potential, equivalent to the compound I was just talking about. But Hate Gaming, they're getting the hell out of the position, which you said in Purim, they should not hold it because they gave their location away. The team push, so you can't hold it anymore because they are now alerted.
Exactly, and they did exactly what I wanted them to do. Now, it's still not going to be easy because of the playing trajectory, there would have been a lot of teams down by around Milton and up around the kind of prison area. So it is going to still be tough for Hate Gaming to rotate. Definitely surprised they've left one man inside Military Island on his own. Does he have a vehicle? I don't think he does. He knows Team Push are there. Team Push knows Navy is there. It is going to be 1v4. Is he going to be able to pull off a KED? Who knows? All the while, the Phase 1 Blue Zone is closing in. We are going to see Phase 2 popping off, Max. Is it going to go up north? Is it going to go down south? I'm going to predict it's going to go up north.
Could potentially go up, but I did just go up north, so there you have it. That's going to be having the few teams having to go a little bit higher. Gatekeeping situation on the bridge. Bridge camp happening for Hate Gaming. So Na'Vi is definitely in a bad spot. But I want to look at our team Legend, as right now, they're a team that normally like to go for Promos, but they are definitely not in their kind of a useful position they like to play around, so they're not in their comfort zone. They got a nice compound surrounded by some fields, so it's pretty nice to defend, but pretty hard to rotate from also.
It is. It really is. Now, Red Reserve, you know they love playing out in the open. They like taking risks. They've no problem being in kind of spread apart. They don't like to camp in compounds unless it's required. This is where they are at their strongest. And Team Push, disengaging away. Navy has gone out of there by this, I wouldn't say by the skin of his teeth, but definitely shouldn't have survived that, but he is, because Team Push are going to look to just disengage from that.
Yeah, pretty smart. Like, once again, the gatekeeping is not going to be too good for them to try and take head on. So, of course, that was the smartest decision for them, playing a lot smarter, and Accelerate, they're going to be breaching the Yaznai Poliana, which is right now a really nice area to go for, especially because of the cross-sections in the compound itself. You can't get attacked too easily, hopefully for them, but they're going to go in their very own compound. They're going to be confronted by team number 15. That is going to be AK-47 Romania, but not too close to each other.
Honestly, no, I don't agree with being in Yaznai Poliana. Oh. Okay, Phase 2, maybe, but anything past Phase 2, even if it's still inside there, I wouldn't recommend it. Kapahala, what are you doing? Nice turnaround from him to get the knockdown onto the member of AK-47. Will he be able to confirm the kill? I don't know if he will be able to, all the while Reki is being very aware of the fact that there is a team in the open fields, the side of Team Legend.
Kapahala, absolutely insane. Unfortunately, that might be the death of one member of AK-47. We'll check that one out, but Accelerate, they're going to try and go for the flush. I mean, to the point is it would be their first point in this game. He's going to be actually dropping down, which I think is actually the smartest play for him to do, because he's being very unpredictable and might allow him to push on their position. After, as I said, it is pretty hard to push on these kind of areas of Yaznai because you've got so much open area between every single building. But Kapahala, he's going to have to bite the dust. Viper just going to be spraying down absolute hell on top of him. Can they get the entire point to go their way? Not too sure. Definitely not in a great position to flush it.
Yeah, but if he can get it, that'll be good stuff coming out from AK-47. But now Sakura going into FPP with the Uzi. The revive is actually coming out. Accelerate, what are you doing, guys? You either go in for the engage or you don't. None of this dancing around, especially in Yaznai where you can't afford to. In through, he's going to have to reload, repositions. The side of AK-47 not looking for a fight unless they really have to. That's wise play from Borean and Dexter.
Really surprised that Accelerate are actually pushing it, right? Because I thought that the fact that they would want to go in Yaznai is just to hold a passive position and just potentially scout out some team members, maybe even shoot at Team Legend, but they're actually fully committing to this engagement on an AK-47. And AK-47, they know it, so why not just let them push on top of you? Just going to try and wait, and you boost that like third-person perspective behind the walls.
No, I do agree with them pushing, because if that circle, as it has shifted up, still with Yaznai in the center, you do not want to allow a team to get closer to you, as Viper with the grenade does knock down X0. You got to think you are going to have 2 to 3 teams now going into Yasnai. You add what's already in there with the 3 or 4 teams rotating, you won't know how to handle things. So that's why Accelerate needed to, in some way, shape, or form, engage and take down AK-47. They just haven't done it properly, to be perfectly honest. They've done it half-arsedly.
Obviously, it's cool to have a split desk, you know, different opinions, different kinds of play styles. Always fun to have. But now, AK-47, maybe not too willing to try and defend this. It's not really worth it at the end of the day. The center of the circle did shift in favor of Yasnai Polyana compound. So why not just hold a better position you can defend for as long as possible instead of trying to play aggressively on Accelerate? I think that is definitely the kind of mindset you want to adopt in this game. But hey, Gaming, they're straight up going to breach the northern side of Yasnaya, and they're going to play very, very aggressive on that shift. They're just going to jump on through and they were really reactive to the circle, which is what Hate Gaming are basically known for.
Yeah, no, Hate Gaming, look, it's day one, really working in their favor. They're flowing with the momentum. They're playing very well as a team. Game in, game out. You can't really deny what they are doing, but Team Push now rotating in. 1 knockdown on the Hoppa 7. That's going to be a confirm, but there's still 3 members up for Team Push.
This is why I was a little bit surprised they wanted to play aggressive on AK-47, because that means they were not prepared to a breach. And of course, on the southern side, that's going to be an easy entry point for most of these teams. Just happen to be Team Push that will be going for the offensive play. They're going to go now for the push. That's going to be the first round coming over to Best, so going to get the first one. Bobby also doing such a good amount of work. And there is 2 members also. Now they're down on their last feet. That's going to be Accelerator's only Kapahala, and he dies out as the last member. And here it is, the breach working out for Team Push. And that's exactly what I was talking about, Ryan Pume. They were not ready to scout out all the southern field of Yasnaya, and that's going to be their downfall in this 4th and final game of the day.
Well, yeah, and you know what? It's the same end result, but I'm going to go on a different point of view. My point of view was if they had have engaged more heavily on AK-47 and taken them out earlier on, it would have given them more of a mindset where they could focus on the teams rotating in from the fields. But like you said, at the end of the day, they weren't prepared. Nice push from Will to get the knockdown onto 1 member of the side of MVP as they're fighting back.
Fighting back as much as they possibly can. Pocus. Oh, that nade might actually be getting himself a nice double. It definitely seemed like the cook was good, and it's absolutely perfectly cooked. Gordon Ramsay would be proud. Now, Elevate, they're down to their last member. Can he make it worthwhile for their squad? As Magic and Goskill are getting pretty close to each other.
Turn that rare into a medium rare with a Molotov to confirm the kill, if I'm not mistaken. However, the fight between Magic and Goskilla is raging on. Whitey is the last man standing. Elon about to be confirmed. Whitey trying to back off Magic after a good result. That's going to be the squad wipe. That's going to be Goskilla out. Unfortunately, their good day will end on a bad note.
Yeah, sad to see them go so early, but that means that the 2 winners of today, the 2 teams with some chicken dinners up their sleeve, are still in action in Pyram. They might have another chicken dinner. That means that only 2 teams will be sharing the games, but we'll keep an eye out for that. The Real Deal aiming for a higher ground position. At least Bujo trying to scout out for his team potentially, but not sure what he's trying to achieve there. As Magic are still there. You see Skirp up there on the mountain, could try and scout him out, but because he's got such a hard terrain, he shouldn't be able to get sniped at too easily.
Here's the thing, Max. The teams that are up in the north, it's a much better position for them to be in, because I'm pretty sure this circle is going to get away from Yasnai. It's very rare that a circle ends up inside a city. That's why I always recommend that teams not to be in a city, especially one like Yasnai, past phase 2 or phase 3, and the teams up north have an advantage. Nice push from Magic onto the Real Deal.
Yeah, the Real Deal unfortunately had a little bit of a hard time. Bujo next to that power line, hopefully can make it out alive. Azzy, Rez is still potential. He's got that little bit of a lip of the heel to protect himself with, so hopefully a flush will not be coming on through. But Skirp, he's moving forward. Sorry, I'm going to repeat that. Skirp moving on forward was the M249. And he could definitely just mow them down, even though it's not like an open area kind of weapon, but he's also got DP in his back pocket, which that would be definitely a lot better to use at this kind of range.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have Master up on top of the hill, but the fact that Azzy has been able to just crawl back downhill, the revive will just about be put on, but that's going to be too little too late. Grenade being thrown up by Master. Is that going to be Kobe rolling down the hill right into Bam as it goes too
Skirp.
far, unfortunately. As Skirp flanks him around. Sorry, Skirp flanks around. Gonna get the shot. 1 knock, 2 knock, 100 bullets. Isn't gonna be enough as Daddy is gonna get the knockdown, but it's gonna be a return by Master to knock down Daddy.
Master, they're going to flush it all out because Bujo is nowhere to be seen. He's still next to the power. Yeah, he's just next to the power line. So he will, of course, try and stay alive for his team, trying to just peel away for extra positioning points, even maybe kill points along the way. But Magic, they are looking strong. 4 kills once again, getting in the top 12. And still, I'm really surprised to see so many teams still alive in this Phase 4. It is supposed to happen. But after that first game, they got really aggressive really quickly in the mid game. Yeah. This one is definitely a lot slower paced. And I think it's also because of the size that has Yasnaya Polyana, and the fact that Yasnaya Polyana is known as a compound where you can actually host so many teams, and that is definitely slowing down this engagement rate.
Max, look at the amount of teams in Yasnaya. That isn't going to be good for any of them. Elevate, we are Vietnamese, AK-47, hell. Okay, shift. It's not too bad for Hate because they're on the edge, so if it shifts away, it's going to be looking good. But OVN on the Northeast, on their own, will it go in their favor? Time will tell. All the while Red Reserve are also looking good down in the Southeast. That's it. It has shifted up to the Northeast. The fields of Yasnaya, it's open-ended. The snakes are going to be strong. The hay bales are going to be important. Who is going to be ending up closing out? But what's more important, Max, is all these teams in Yasnaya have to find a way out of it. Never be in a city.
In 30 seconds, Imperium, and mayhem is about to knock on your front door. All the teams are going to be, unfortunately, in the back. They are the ones that might struggle the most. But the teams on the front, like Team Push and also Hate Gaming, also a little bit of AK-47, they have a nice, easy entry point. But over in Esports, they are already set up in a great position to deny all future rotations. Team Push, they're going to be leading the offensive, trying to get a nice knockdown on CIA. They have the compound in their advantage, and CIA really struggling. They lost Besso, Bobby, and Magic going to have to hold this building down as a 2-man army. They're going to still go for the res on Besso.
Here's the thing, though, for Hate and Team Push, they don't want to go into a circle, although they are actually going for the push. We are Vietnamese going right past Team Push. I was saying that Hate could actually look to just to kind of circle keep with Team Push. Bobby spraying through with the M4 suppressor. It's not going to work for now, but now it's going to be fired out. What a play by the likes of We Are Vietnamese just to go full send it.
Here it is, all the teams trying to just potentially get a nice position in the fields of Yasnaya and just stay prone and wait for things to calm down, but it's not calm for CIA as they're going to be losing, of course, Gangster in the process. Red Reserve, they have a nice position to play with. They're defending their compound as hard as they possibly can, and it was a pretty nice amount of success. It was a 2-2 split. Now back to the power line 2. But I said it, OVN Esports, they have the single best positioning, at least for this phase, because they got the high ground position, and they see every single team just struggling to claw their way in circle.
I know you don't like the snake, but Red Reserve, please start doing a little bit of snaking. Please start doing a little bit of snaking, because it's going to be so important when you're out in the open field that you're not exposing yourself from all angles as UDR killers trying to find a way. Those vehicles are paying up for these teams, but we're down to 8 teams. 23 players up. Hey, looking for the side of CIS who are up in the north side. All the while, UDR killers throwing out the smokes, trying to create that wall that they can keep themselves alive on.
I love how they use those cards. This is how you use in high competitive tier 1 play. Imperium, UDR killers, they're using a lot of smokes early, and this is only phase 5. That means that when you're out of smokes in an open area, it's all about snaking, so hopefully they can still try and keep a few as a last minute resort. Yo, UDR's trying to spray down. Some bolt action coming out. Well, DMR action coming out from Jar, just trying to spray down, but he still can't get him. Dexar's just too quick, but at the end, he will get the last bullet through.
There you go. There you go. Jada, the UK player for Hate Gaming, gonna look to work to get that kill out there, but from a distance, Sandro Nano gonna also get the work done onto Hate Gaming. Still 8 teams, still 20 players up. Dexter will look to be confirmed. Come on. You can do it, my friend. You can do it.
We'll see, but the circle shift again in the favor of Red Reserve and Ovian. Ovian, is this a god from the heavens? A gift from heaven, not a god from the heaven. I don't know what I'm saying there, but it's fine. Okay. Now all the teams gonna have to shift. This is the similar kind of rotation we had last time when it did go away from Yasnaya. Nate's coming on through though. Well, hopefully won't do too much. But UDR Kill is still preying on a kill on Hate Gaming.
Magic are doing a great rotation to try and get into the circle up in the direction of OVN Esports, but it's going to be very hard. They get out of the vehicle, try and take those wheels out so they have a little bit better of an angle to hide themselves. But Sonic is getting the job done onto the players of Magic.
As Magic unfortunately get eliminated, they will be out. No extra chicken dinner for you. Red Reserve, the 2-2 split carefully could work out. They can try and allow their team to rotate forward, but EDR Killer's getting mowed down. I'm really struggling, but they do, you know, return the favor versus Hate Gaming and get a few extra frags for themselves. That's just many a battle. Neymar is going to be, I believe, the last member of Hate Gaming, so he's going to have a little bit of a hard time making it through, and he's not in a great spot. He's going to have to go uphill. UDR Killers also, they're just getting pushed away by Red Reserve, and they are just controlling this entire map, Imperium.
I really like this. This is a game that Red Reserve need. This is the potential result that they need. They're on 6 kills so far. They're back on form. Erangel, they're home. Sonic does get knocked down though. CIA, we haven't talked about them, but they stay quiet and they've gotten into the final 5 teams as 2 members of Red Reserve get knocked down. OVN trying to hold onto the high ground. They are still inside the circle. UDR Killers down south, southwest. They have to try and find their way in. Now the snakes are going to start going down as we're in the 24-minute mark.
Also, if you guys did not see, Hate Gaming did indeed get eliminated in 5th position, but now this should slowly go a lot slower in this game. That was a lot of slow in one sentence, but Sia going to try and make it through. They have a little bit of a terrain to work with, so they are somewhat hidden away from OVN, but OVN was still 3 members. They lost Niver, unfortunately, but with that high ground position, they can just have every information they want. Red Reserve was still 4 members, though. They are going to be a big threat to OVN, so they got to be able to focus on not only Red Reserve, but also on the side of CIA squad.
But here's the thing, OVN are putting all their eggs in one basket, because if the next phase shifts down south, it's going to be very hard for OVN to deal with going downhill with a couple of teams, and that's exactly what has happened. OVN going downhill at the late stage of the game is very, very hard. The only benefit they have is the fact that they are still a 3-man team. Nano gets knocked down. Sonic closing things out. Red Reserve adding to their kills one by one. Ted knocks down Jaguar. Can they get the kill? Putting it down to 2 teams. Just 1 man left for CIA.
Red Reserve, they're just picking up 1 kill at a time, and once again, they get another team squad wipeout on CIA. OVN, you just mentioned it, Imperium, they have to go downhill, and this is a scary place to be. With only 5 seconds, it might be their death timer at this point in time. They have to create 2. Ked moves a little bit forward in the circle to try and split up, and also to try and deny any kind of protection away from OVN as they try to make their way down. They're going to go for the car rotation. I don't think that is a good thing to do. It goes a little bit faster, but an easy shot to take down. Here it is, great spray coming out from Ked. He gets 1. Can he get Dust 2? He tries to get prone down. He gave his position away. Great fight back there, I do have to say, from Dusk. But will it be enough? I'm pretty sure that will not be the case. Red Reserve just having to focus down on the 2 last members of OVN. And this is not looking too great. Agon going to get a great angle. And this should be game over.
It's going to be a trade for trade. Ked crawling back. Chip firing shots. Being from the cover. Agon goes through. That's going to be the final blow. And Red Reserve get the chicken dinner.
Chicken dinner and 12 kills. Red Reserve, what would he ask for? An extra. That is perfect way to close up the day for them. Struggled a little bit on their first 3 games. Had a decent one on Miramar, but no, it's all uphill from here. We said that they were one of the teams we had an eye out for this entire tournament, with Red Reserve and Elevate for this Group C versus Group D matchup. You know what, Red Reserve? They showed up exactly as we wanted on the late game. They played that late game so well. Exactly every time we called something, Red Reserve pulled it off exactly how we mentioned it, and they were just controlling it so well. Once again, Red Reserve, their team that have been playing together for quite a long amount of time, and they just synergized so well because their communication, they knew exactly where teams were located. Ked been a little bit aggressive on his positioning, but I think that was actually exactly what they needed, and it allowed him to flush so many teams that could have posed a threat to them a little bit later on down the line, but because they got rid of them so quickly, they just had an easy fishing period at the very late game.
Yeah, and I do want to give a huge shout out and a level of respect to OVN Esports, because I said that they were putting all their eggs in one basket by staying on the high ground before that circle shifted down south. They kind of had to, realistically. They didn't have a full squad. They knew there was still 3 to 4 teams around them, and they had to just stay out. And it still ended up paying off for them getting second place with 3 kills. Also, CIA, out of nowhere, getting a 3rd place result, only 1 kill, but still a fantastic finish for them. You also had the likes of Hate Gaming, 5th place. that's not a bad result. They did get 6 kills, I believe. No, 5 kills.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Hate Gaming.
Hate Gaming, they got 5 kills.
5 kills. Yeah.
Yeah, really happy still. Hate Gaming consistency. They've been shown up to the party just so nicely today. I'm really happy. But I'm going to say real quick something about OVN Esports. So I said they were a team that were really good, especially on Vikendi and Sanhok, but I didn't really know where they pulled their strength from. But I think I slowly I understand where they pull their strength from is actually reading circles and knowing where the primary positioning is, which is really important skill to have on both Vikendi and Sanhok. But that is the main reason why they were able to secure themselves a second position on this game, and also second position on Sanhok on game number 2. And they were just playing that one so well. I think it's very unfortunate that the circle did shift down because, once again, downhill, late game, you mentioned it really well in Purim, that is never going to go away in your favor. But OVN, reading the circle, late game, they do that spot on every single time almost.
Also, and this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, Magic had a fantastic game. They got 8 kills. They were overall positioned very well. But when the circle shifted away from them, I felt that they were very slow to respond, as in they could easily have pushed and taken out OVN because they were on the north side. They were on the northwest, but they could easily have rotated down to the northeast and taken down the likes of OVN. So I do feel that was a missed opportunity for them. They left it a little bit too late, but still, like I said, with 8 kills, that was a really great kill game for Magic.
Yeah, and also that was just a great game to close up today's stream on. Gotta say, did not disappoint. Hate Gaming, Magic, 2 big surprises, mainly Hate Gaming. Like, they were just absolutely insane from start to finish. Always in a really high-end position overall. 2 chicken dinners in a row, the first back-to-back chicken dinner this tournament for the European stage for PMCO Spring Split 2020. So, of course, big round of applause for them. Big round of pogs in the chat if you're both... Oh, you know, you can even do pogs on YouTube if you want. That's fine. That's not illegal. But, Imperium, with that said, so much stuff happening. We're going to be closing up today's chapter, and I think that we should maybe talk a little bit about what's happening tomorrow as we go over the schedule, because tomorrow we're going to have some chilly Vikendi competitive action coming our way, which I absolutely just can't wait for.
Yeah, we are going to have Group A and Group C come together, so that's going to be another element, and like you said with Vikendi, it's going to add some extra spiciness, but as far as I know, Max, the scores have been updated, which does mean that we can give the lovely folks at home a huge update on what the overall standings after all 32 teams have played. Well, 31, but I'm going to say 32 teams have played 4 games, where they are lying overall in the standings.
I'm going to say let's start from 17th position to 31st. To see where they are currently located. So there we go. We're going to be having CIA squad. You know, despite their 2 first games on Sanhok and Erangel being pretty harsh, this 3rd game on Miramar and the last game here where they got pretty decent positioning, 3rd position to be exact, actually brought them so many extra positioning points up to now 26, and they get in 18th position. Slowly climbing up, you know, slow and steady wins the race, and CIA squad are definitely living up to that expectation. Are there maybe any teams that really stand out to you? I was expecting way better from the real deal today.
Elevate?
But yeah, Elevate.
Come on,
yeah.
Elevate in 19th place, 23 points. Okay, they have 15 kill points, but with only 8 placement points. That kind of is definitely a weakness from their side that they will look to try and improve in the upcoming days. Also, Team Legend as well in 24th. It's not the worst, but I was kind of expecting one very strong game for them at least. They in the scrims, they haven't shown a huge amount of consistency, but when they have put in a good game, they put in a damn good game. So I'm definitely a little bit disappointed from them in terms of lying in 24th.
So I haven't seen yet the top 16, so I'm going to be changing it. I'm going to be seeing it exactly at the same time as the broadcast. 3, 2, 1. Where is actually Hate Gaming? They're in 2nd position. Right behind Next Gaming. They're only 6 points away, but still that is a pretty damn impressive with 2 chicken dinners. And yeah, Hate Gaming, I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do. Now they got they don't even have a cushion at this point. They got a mattress, and they can sleep absolutely insanely well tonight, so I'm pretty happy with their performance. And Magic, also, they're a team that only got 1 chicken dinner. Well, only. It's still chicken dinner. There are many teams with a chicken dinner. But they're also right behind Cream Esports. So definitely the competition, as we just, get rid of the teams in the lower levels, semi-finals and the grand finals is going to be just absolute bonkers, Imperium.
Yeah, and then one team to highlight, Ghost Skillet in 7th place. They're the only team in the top 8 to have not gotten a chicken dinner, and they're still up there with 53 points. So really happy with Goskilla overall. Not super consistent games, but at the end of the day, the results have spoken for themselves in the first 4 games. If they can add a chicken dinner or two to that in the next eight upcoming games, then 100% they will easily find themselves in a strong position going into the semi-finals. And then also Red Reserve, after that chicken dinner, jumping up to 5th place. That's roughly where I expect them to be after 4 games. So I'm glad they've at least met my expectations.
I think that a lot of these teams definitely hit the mark. Elevate, had a little bit of a hard time today. I'm sure they'll be doing great. Elevate will not be playing tomorrow. They'll be playing in 2 days. So that's going to be, wait, what day are we? I forgot what day we are, Imperium. We are currently Wednesday, so they're going to be playing on Friday. So we'll check them out on Friday once again. They'll be having some Vikendi action. I know that Elevate, they did some pretty good performances on Vikendi, so hopefully they'll be going their way. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for checking out today's broadcast. I hope you had an absolute blast of a good time. Myself and Imperium, of course, we really enjoyed your company with us today, and it's an absolute honor to bring you the action that you all know and love, all of you at home. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. CET or 7 p.m. GMT if you live in the UK. My name is Maxman, John was Imperium, and we'll see you all next time for some more PUBG Mobile competitive European action. Bye-bye.